Halo, halo, Bang Elik.
Apa? Naon bang?
Orang mana kamu Bang Elik?
Orang aring anjing. Itu dia suara yang bawah ya, pada kuning. Tang Putangina.
Gago.
Apa gago bang?
Gago itu bahasa ini Bang, Pinoy.
Pilipinoy.
Nah, gotek Bang orangnya.
Udah. Welcome to Southern People. Harusnya belajar buat animasi bang.
Nggak mau.
Bukan
This
rigging.
episode, we will learn
Yang rigging
how to
aku
give-
Bang.
Animator lebih cepat naik.
Nggak mau. Nggak mau cepet naik kayak mah. Cepet turun Bang pengennya Bang. To the ground. Bisa di setting supaya nggak masuk nggak sih OBS-nya? Gimana caranya? Ini tetap ke capture tapi yang ini. Coba kalau gue bikin lagi. Tetap keluar. Wah, ngerti gua.
Specifically in this episode, we will learn how to give movements to
Ini
object.
nge-lag. No, nih, nge-lag ya anjing.
In the few following episodes, we will learn about parameters. Specifically in this episode, we will learn how to give movements to object, how to create new parameters, and how to organize parameters in group.
Valoran harus dikeluarin kah? Berat.
Parameter is the core operation
Oh iya,
mechanic
kita ngapain
of
pula kalau masih di Palu?
Kenapa nge-lag gini, Cok? Chrome gua, Cok. Astaga. Bangsat ya. Halo, Bang.
Mozilla
Halo.
lebih ringan loh daripada Chrome.
In the few following episodes, we will learn about parameters.
Mozilla Firefox.
Specifically in this episode,
Nggak suka
we will
gue
learn
UI.
how to give movements to
Si Ahmad
object,
Rafi di
how to create new
Dian Kusuma ya.
parameters, and
Itu,
how
Cok,
to
datang ya.
organize
Hai,
parameters
udah.
in group.
Aku nggak tahu kok.
Parameter is
Udah
the
hilang.
core operation
Udah
mechanic
hilang.
of a live
Aku
2D
bingung.
model.
Itu kok bisa dia keliling gitu anjir?
Literally, your model does
Iya nggak?
absolutely
Neri.
Kenapa nge-lag gini, anjing?
nothing without you building
Gara-gara
parameters.
Neri itu. Bang.
Rigging modeler mode is building the parameter, animating in
Lu
animator
apain,
mode
Neri,
is
nge-lag gini?
operating those parameters that you built.
Neri,
Enggak.
Neri.
Even
Lagi
physicists
streaming
know
Discord, Bang,
use
lag.
the parameters. Face rig, iPhone, motion tracking, they
Ya,
use your
apa, Bang?
parameters.
Nggak boleh kan
But
ya?
perimeter is a long word that I get tired from
Kenapa nggak
typing or
boleh?
saying, so sometimes I will
Kenapa?
refer them just as params.
Kenapa nggak boleh?
It is easy to understand what params does
Ya kenapa
once you
nggak
see
boleh?
how it works.
Gak boleh babi anjing.
But most learners fail to understand the deeper concepts of
Anjing.
it and just use that one basic usage over and over again, when a lot of times what they need in order to
Kecil.
improve their works is using parameters at its fullest. On extreme other end of the spectrum, some users come up with crazy techniques to use parameters
Episode
to do
1,
that one
episode 2,
thing
episode
they want
3,
their
apa?
model to do. But there are different ways to accomplish that one thing. However, they use the parameters the way that it would cause a major constraint to other that I get tired from typing.
Ulangi lagi ya.
We will learn how to give movements to object, how to create new parameters, and how to organize parameters in group. Parameter is the core operation mechanic of a live 2D model. Literally, your model does
Nanti aing buat
absolutely
AI
nothing without you
auto-rigging.
building parameters. Rigging modeler mode is building the parameter. Animating in animator
Kita
mode
hapuskan
is
semua
operating
itu.
those parameters that you built.
Trigger.
Even physics system uses your parameters. Face rig, iPhone, motion tracking, they use your parameters. But parameter is a long word that I get tired from typing or saying, so sometimes I will refer them just as params. It is easy to understand what params does once you see how it works. But most learners fail to understand the deeper concepts of it and just use that one basic usage over and over again, when a lot of times what they need in order to improve their works is using parameters at its fullest. On extreme other end of the spectrum, some users come up with crazy techniques to use parameters to do that one thing they want their model to do. But there are different ways to accomplish that one thing. However, they use their parameters the way that it would cause a major constraint to other performance of their model. Clients do not like to hear limitations on their model. A professional Live 2D designer cares about usability. Keep this in mind as you go through this tutorial. So let's go to Cubism and take a look at the sample model. This is a finished model with parameters fully built. There are angle X, Y, and Z for the head movements. There's the eye open for blinking, and there's the mouth open for talking. Now let's go to our own material. We now try to rig our gray object, meaning that we'll make it move. We want to give it a horizontal movement. Select the object. We know that we selected the object when we see the red frame. We can also check the parts tree and the deformer hierarchy tree. If the double arrow icon is turned on, then these trees will automatically highlight the object that we selected. Once we confirmed our selected object, double-click the parameter that we want the movement to be registered.
Entah mungkin menjalani hidup.
Udah menyentuh rumput dia, Bang.
Ya, bukan kayak kauner. Sentuh rumput bajingan.
Anjing. Personal press on lah untuk minggu depan, so.
Apa press on?
Press on ya, kuku palsu.
Kontol.
Aku jadi press kecok anjing.
Ini apa? Anjing hilang.
Kalau lagi latihan ya.
With, and it would open this keyform edit dialog. Click on any value on the scale to place a keyform. Click again to remove it. We need
Oh,
that we
anjing liar
selected.
goblok.
Once we confirmed our selected object, double-click the parameter that we want the movement to be registered with, and it would open this keyform edit dialog. Click on any value on the scale to place a keyform. Click again to remove it. We need one on -30, on 0, and on 30. Confirm the values below, and then hit OK when you're ready. Notice what has changed. The angle X parameter has 3 big green dots. They are the keyforms. Keyforms are points where you can set the state of a selected object. Each point stores the data of the transformation. There's also a red dot, which I usually call the knob. The knob represents the current value of the parameter we are reading and operating on. Now, if we deselect the object by clicking outside of the object, the green dots turn white. If we select the object again, they turn green. Always be sensitive to the green dots and the red knob when you're working. Also, notice how other parameters don't have any big dots or any color. While those parameters are free parameters, they have no object registered any action to them yet, so they do not do anything to your model. Make sure, again, we selected our object. The current value is indicated by the red knob, and we are currently at 0. We want this object to stay at its initial position when the parameter is at 0, so we don't want to move anything here. Slide the red knob to -30. You can do that either by left click and dragging the knob, or you can right click the keyform far left. We want this keyform to be the state where the object is inside the pink box. So now we simply move the object into the pink box. Test the result by sliding on the param. Observe that the object transforms from 0 to -30. Live 2D automatically interpolates the in-between frames for us. There are 2 rules that I want you to memorize, and you may not know why now that these are important, but these are minor details that you have to keep in mind. Number 1, when we click drag the whole object with the red box just now, we are basically selecting all the vertices in the art mesh and move them all together. It is the same as moving all the vertices individually. Number 2, when an art mesh transforms from keyform to keyform, which is essentially each and every vertice traveling, they travel in a straight line. Now there are workarounds to this law. With rotation deformer and extended interpolate, sometimes they don't travel in a straight line. However, just memorize this for now. Vertices from point A to point B always travel in a straight line. 9 out of 10 learners spending extra hours unable to improve their model is because they don't understand this concept. So, this is how we give movements to an object. But what if we don't want to use any of these parameters? We want to use our own original one. This is useful because most models that I make, I need to create at least 40 to 60 new parameters that are original, sometimes even more. So this is how we do it. First, we remove all the movements in angle X. Select the object, select angle X at 0, use the right click on the middle keyform. Double click angle X parameter, remove all 3 points, then OK. We have reset our object to its original state. Now go to the bottom of the param palette. You'll see this button that says New Parameter. Click on it to open the Create dialog. All parameters have 3 main properties: the name, New Parameter. Bottom of the param palette. You'll see this button that says New Parameter. Click on it to open the Create dialog. All parameters have 3 main properties: the name, ID, and range. Name and ID sounds like the same thing, but they're quite different, and you have to know how they're different. Name is usually the display name of the parameter. The one that is displayed here is the name. In animator mode or physics editor mode, you would be seeing the names too. In fact, in Cubism, you would rarely use the ID at all. ID is more often for the programmer side, the developer side, to read and use. But pick your ID carefully. Just because you don't use them doesn't mean you can give them whatever random name that makes the life hard for other people. Now, the ID has some naming rules. If you see a text down below, there it says, click here for ID naming rules. Go ahead, click it, and see what it has to say. Now, you may have to come back to this later. Press OK to close it. Traditionally, in Cubism 2, the naming convention goes like this. We use all caps with underline. Post 3.0, we use no space and uppercase only for the first character of every word, like this. Sometimes we need to use the old style if our model will be used in some Legacy 2.0 environment. Let's go with this style for now, and we will name it slide X, and then the ID would be parem slide X.
Ntar bang, saya dulu bang.
Be right back. Naon move? Oi move anjing ngapa?
Kakak kau masih di ini ya? Masih dengan itu, Mas Randy?
Nggak tahu kenapa emang?
Kau main di mana?
Di Kingdom.
Oh, jam berapa? Aku siang tadi ngerti.
Siang aku ke ini dulu, ke kampus tadi.
Aku
Minta tandangan Pak Budi.
aduh,
Ada.
Ferdi ngajak metu
Kapan?
malam ini.
Gas betul ya.
Aku malam ini nak nepi Mas Randy itu pula.
Ngapain?
Nggak tahu dia baru nelpon aku.
Mungkin ditawari gawe.
Iya itulah, cuman agak malaman sih, makanya mana metu dulu ya gitu. Aku metu jam 9 jam 10.
Wah, udah besok deh kalau ngomongin itu. Malas aku berkejaran.
Mau kejaran kemana? Kau biar di situ-situ lah, tai.
Itulah kakak aku nih ya, dia kan balik cok anjing.
Dia belum balik emang tadi. Kau metu jam berapa?
Dia tuh ya malam balik malam tadi tuh. Paginya berangkat lagi.
Kenapa balik semalam?
Itulah.
Tidak
Nggak dua.
include hotel dia.
Apa?
Dia udah ada main hotel lah.
Itulah aku bingung.
Kok anehnya?
Ya sudah kata aku. Mau mana
Dia
lagi?
jam berapa balik semalam?
Pertama balik jam ini ya, jam 6 ke jam 7-an ya. Pergi lagi. Ya,
Heeh.
sampai jam 9 jam 10-an lupa aku antara dia itu. Baru tidur di rumah. Pagi berangkat lagi ke sana.
Jam berapa pagi nih?
Entah.
Di mana hotel mereka?
Hotel mereka. Entah, lupa juga aku.
Kau tanya dak mereka berangkat uang berapa?
Aduh, dewean dia.
Oh cuman Mas Randy dewean.
Iya.
Oh,
Harusnya ngerewangi Mas Randi ya tuh.
Iya harusnya melo Mas Riandi nginep segala macem. Cak aku kemarin kan melo nginep semalam. Kenapa tak melo ya aneh?
Aneh biar lah anjing introvert tai kontol itu.
Tidak mungkin dia nolak cowok anehnya.
Oh?
Tidak mungkin kakak kau nolak.
Iya bisa jadi. Introvert rata kanan bang. Udahlah. Barang dah kejadian Wak.
Tapi keluarga tidak.
Apa? David tidak.
Tidak pernah lagi apa di keluarga.
Pensi bang. Semenjak minum nggak ada. Iya gak dong? Udahlah kita lihat AG. Aku takut gara-gara ada ngerewangi bayarannya kurang kan. Anjay.
Oh my god. Halo bang,
Nah, halo bang.
apakah masih ada orang?
Ada bang.
Siapa aja nih?
Itu namanya bang Move bang.
Elik doang kah? Oh ada Move, teman Elik kah? Halo bang, teman Elik.
Bang temen Elik. Nah anjing.
Orang mana bang?
Halo juga bang teman Elik.
Goblok.
Elik babi emang anjing.
Iya, goblok anjing.
Terbang gue dulu lah. Chill bos, ini baru live stream yang chill bro. Idiot anjing.
Gitu loh. Siapa tahu ditawari gawe mau.
Cuman aku nak ngadu dosen dulu.
Parah kamu Move anjing.
Dia ditawarin kerja cok, siapa tahu kan masuk PT anjay, tapi jadi sebagai ini driver.
PT mengontol babi.
Yang penting duit.
Betul sih, nggak salah sih.
Enggak bang, enggak betul bang. Salah bang.
Kenapa nggak salah bang?
No need duit bang.
Ini
Yang
bang,
penting kebahagiaan. Belajar. No need uang lah bang. Uang mah ejet. Tinggal ngemis aja bang. Atau jadi tukang parkir.
anjing betul sih.
Jaga buat
Lu cari pertigaan kan lu diam di tengah udah bang. Auto dikasih duit anjing. Nggak ngapa-ngapain.
kita mobil.
Enggak cok, apa namanya orang minta-minta kok masukin tangan satu. Bangsat, aku pedek lihat TikTok.
Bosan hidup gua bang. Jadi harus belajar sesuatu bang. Biar nggak bosan hidup.
Anjay.
Kalau nggak belajar mah bosan bro.
Mas Riandi ngajak kau tuh ngapain?
Nggak tahu dia nelpon be ngajak ketemu. Ayo jak aman.
Move, nama lu pasti Move Hamad ya?
Yoi.
Bah, gelo bener gitu cok. Muhammad apa? F-nya apa ya bang? Farhan kah?
Iya.
Muhammad Farhan.
Apa sih bangsat kau ya?
Muhammad Farhan ya bro, gelo.
Iya. Aja.
Klik main apa kamu Elek?
Baca komik bang.
Anjing baca komik mulu goblok.
Anjing.
Komik bokep.
Tai.
Pasti hentai anjing, tai lu, babi.
Sepuh anjing.
Sepuh per hentaian pasti Elek ini bro.
Anjing. Itu yang kenalan kawan-kawan yang di environment tuh sih ya Mas Randiandi atau bukan?
Hah?
Kawan-kawan yang di sana yang dapat info-info kau dari sana tuh.
Bukan.
Ngapa dia nak temui kau?
Tidak tahu.
Mungkin ditawari kerja semua.
Mungkin jadi pemain bokep bang.
Cabang Palembang. Bah, anjing aku ikut cok.
Paling nganter banner lagi nih mendugaan aku.
Bener ya. Enggak 100.000. Tak rewangin.
Nggak tahu nganter banner kemana tapi paling ke Canton.
Lik, kenapa lu nggak jadi pemain bokep aja, Lik?
Anjing bang. Pemain bokep pun harus ganteng bang.
Kontol lu kan gede,
Harus.
goblok.
Anjay, nggak salah sih.
Kece. Ngeri, bos.
Anjing.
Nggak ganteng nggak apa-apa, Bang, kalau kontolnya gede mah.
Sulit bang. Masa setiap ngentot mukanya ditutup.
Kan bisa pakai topeng.
Iya, Cuk.
Anjing.
Kayak masker, Bang. Aman aja.
Anjing pakai masker. Anjing sepuh semua si kontol ya bang.
Sepupu perkontolan kamu, Elik.
Anjing.
And the range, just keep it as it is.
Harusnya sepupu permemekan dong. Kalau sepupu
Among the
perkontolan
initial-
lagi.
Dia gay, goblok.
Anjing normal. Aing normal kontol.
Anjay. Biasanya kalau orang yang ngomong aing normal gitu, Bang. Gay biasanya, Bang.
Anjing. Oh nggak normal berarti.
Normal, enggak sih.
Berarti
Why
kalau nggak
are you
normal.
gay? Why are you gay?
Berarti kalau nggak normal dong.
Abang gua nggak suka semuanya gimana dong?
Hah? Nggak normal.
Furi.
Anjing.
Suka-
sorry.
Sukanya
Kuliah
manusia
pintar.
kucing, Bang, kalau ada, Bang.
Anjing.
Atau esper, Bang. Alien boleh, Bang.
Alien. Danda. Kalian lagi main turbo.
params. Some params have minimum and maximum of -30 and 30. Some are -10 and 10. Some are -1 and 1, and some are 0 and 1. In theory, the range of number, being large or small, doesn't really affect the rig's performance.
Maco.
But in actual practice, it may affect your physics. It may affect other applications using your model. So here's the general rule. If it's a big movement, use negative and positive 30.
Besok.
If it's a small one, then plus or minus 10.
Harus ngehidupin
If it's
data.
for physics, -1, 0, and +1. And if it's turning off a part, then use 1 and 0. How about default values? You may notice that most of
Ano,
default
pwede natin
values
saan
are
group?
0, but in some usage, you might want it to be different in other values. Now, there are a lot of pros and cons to talk about that part, and we will explore them in later episodes. So now let's just stick to 0. Now, you don't have to feel too stressed out from deciding those values at this moment, because anywhere in your project later on, you can change the parameters minimum, maximum, and default values anytime. But you gotta be aware that
Mungkin
if
kakak
you
ikut
do
nongkrong.
decide to change them, it may affect the objects that you already have given some
Kita bikin ini dulu, Bang. Abang
Rigging.
Apa ya? Ini aja deh.
Sampai hari apa dia di sini?
Hari Wang, Bang.
Katanya 2 hari kan? Hari ini hari kedua, Cok. Kalau udah besok udah hari ketiga.
Rigging God. Banget,
God.
Ini
Ngapain
aja.
nggak pakai ini anjing? Versi.
Buat ini, Bang, catatan. Catatan gua pakai spreadsheet, Bang.
Anjing.
Tolol. Tolol gak sih, Bro?
Tolol, Bang.
Param, Bang. Medium, large movement.
Wah. Antar.
Dengan 30.
Kapan kawinmu?
Besok.
Besok. Anjay. Anjay.
Small movement fisik. Jangan diginiin, Neng. Jelek.
Dia ngajak ketemuan kau di mana emang, Mu?
Di hotel.
Di hotel.
Iya.
Pasti syuting bokep itu, Bang.
Itu pun apa namanya? Apa namanya kan itu laki-laki berdua kan.
Some
Berarti
extra parameters,
video game,
minimum, maximum, and default values anytime. You may notice that most of the default values are 0.
Pada Mas Rian
But
kan
in
sama-sama
some
laki aja kalau syuting
In theory, the range of number,
bokep, gay ya.
being large or small,
Bisa memanggil
doesn't
wanita
really
wanita
affect the
di
rig's
Palembang.
performance.
Oh, minta ini dia
But
minta
in
Keno.
actual practice, it may affect your physics. It may affect other applications using your model. So here's the
Ini
general
dinamain
rule.
apa namanya?
If it's a big movement,
Cewek gitu kan.
use negative and positive 30.
Big
Bawa
anjing.
ke KI dia.
If it's a small one,
Anjing banci
then
gua.
plus or minus 10. If it's for physics,
Malah sarang banci gue masuk.
negative 1, 0, and positive 1. And if it's turning off a part, then
Gimana,
use
Daf, kapan,
1 and 0.
Nyentot Dov.
How about
No
default
need,
values?
goblok.
1 and 0.
Anjing. Itu si
How about
Johnny
default
nggak mau
values?
masuk ke sarang.
You may notice
Uh-oh.
that most of the default values are 0. But in some usage, you might
Jangan
want it
pecah
to be
dikta terus,
different in other values. Now there are a
Ngentot mulu,
lot
Bang.
of pros
Ngapain,
and
Bang?
cons to talk about that part, and we
Mungkin
will explore
realisasinya
them
beda,
in
Bang.
later episodes. So
Dari
now
coli
let's
kah?
just stick to 0.
Heeh.
Now you don't have to feel too
Kata orang sih enakan
stressed
coli,
out
Bang.
from deciding those
Siapa
values
orangnya, Bang?
at this
Aku
moment,
nggak pernah dengar.
Di Reddit,
because
Bang.
anywhere
Ah.
in your project
Aku aja nanya
later
kalau
on,
yang udah
you
dikata
can
dengan
change
di
the
itu.
parameters minimum,
katanya.
maximum, and default
Dia
values.
suka coli nggak?
But you gotta
Coli
be aware
dulu kan
that
sebelum nikah.
if you
Oh.
do
Nikah
decide to
ingin
change
sholat lah,
them, it may affect
Masih suka coli nggak udah
objects
nikah?
that you already have
Nggak tahu
given some
Ada jatah
actions
lah.
to them.
Kan dicoliin.
For example, if
Nggak lah,
you
pasti ada
have
jatah, Bang.
a
Nggak
arm
mungkin dicoliin
rotation
terus, ya.
parameter
Ya, kalau
that
capek kan
has
dicoliin aja.
originally a minimum maximum value
Tuh.
of negative 30 to
Pengalaman,
30,
Cok.
and now you want to change it to negative 10 and 10.
1 kali 24 jam kan?
But after
Dua
doing that, your
Anjing.
arms that already have rotation, they still have the negative 30 and
Ring,
30
Kak,
keyforms. They will still continue to exist and do the same thing, but your parameter would be too short to reach to both either ends. Now, there are ways to accommodate those problems, to fix that back to normal, but we'll talk more about them later. Just for now, I want you to remember, be aware that changing your parameter min-max value doesn't mean that the keyforms will scale accordingly.
Cih, mengecewakan.
When ready, press OK. Now we have our new param. If it's somewhere at the
Berikan aku
bottom,
kode favorit
click and
mu,
drag
cepat.
it, and put it back on top of the list where you want it to be. We can also create
Berikan aku
param
6
group
angka tersebut.
folders to keep things
Ini
organized.
lanjutannya tuh.
Click on a yellow folder to create a new one. Give it a sensible name, and then move the param into the folder. And we can also change the color of the folder to keep it easy to recognize. So with the new param, we can give the gray object the sliding movement.
Anjing nggak bisa
again.
masuk.
The new So with the new param, we can give the gray
Oh.
object the sliding movement again.
Mana angkanya nih?
This time, let's make it more interesting. With more keyforms, we can make this transformation more dynamic. We know how to give one object one param to operate. But note that the object does not own the param. One param can operate more than one object. In any transformation
Nah, itu
you
udah
want it to do
83
for each
74
object,
92.
it could be two
Bravo,
things
bravo.
completely
837
irrelevant.
837
For example,
492.
see how this pink container is using slide X.
KT anjing.
Ah, bohong, Cok. AI-nya.
As a summary, we learn how to make objects move. We learn the basic operations of parameters. We can also make new ones too. I also talked briefly about good and
52
bad
98
practices.
25.
Although we are still early in this tutorial, we want to
98
start
25.
growing the awareness of how to be professional. That means you need to be
Apa itu,
aware
Bang?
that when you make a model, this product is used by
Bang.
other applications outside
Easy
of
ini mah bang,
Fusion
anjing easy
by
parah
other
nggak sih bro?
people.
Anjing.
Some programmers will be making games for your model. Some VTubers will be acting in your
Nami ya?
model in FaceRig or iPhone.
Yoi.
Think ahead will be acting in your model in
Kalau
FaceRig or
metamorphosis
iPhone.
berapa sih kode lunak
Think
turunnya?
ahead. Programmers will be making games for your model.
Belum
Some
baca,
VTubers
pengen
will be
baca.
acting in your model in FaceRig or
Aku
iPhone.
yang One Piece aja.
Think ahead.
Anjing.
Every step you take, how your decisions will affect how
Yang
other
Nami
people
aja,
use your
yang Robin
products.
aja.
Then, you start to pay attention to minor details. Suddenly, the parameter ID and range values matters to you. We'll talk more about these details throughout the tutorial. If you want to join Iron Vertex Guild someday, you need to show me that you follow these standards. To end this episode, we'll take away with this remark. A parameter is for someone else to pilot your model.
Bacer. Tujuan gue ikut Iron Pertek bang, Guyul. Keluar dari Noir gue bang.
Apa, Bang?
Welcome back to our
Keluar dari Noir.
4 tutorial
Dapat
series,
ini ya,
Introduction to
Pertek.
Tools and
Ya
Technical
bang, masuk
Concepts.
Iron
This is
Pertek.
Brian. Let's get started.
Nah,
Episode 4 will talk
kapan
about
kali
perimeter
terima dari
and this is
Iron
part
Pertek,
2.
Bang?
Wah setelah bang. Ini belum kelar nonton videonya anjing.
Make sure you take the part 1 before you take this one. Let's talk about perimeter and the concept of scalability. How does perimeter scale up your workload? This is a graph of 6 qualities of Iron Vertex Live 2D. This is too advanced for now, so don't worry about too much about it. We just want to talk about one of the aspects, which is scalability. Scalability in Live 2D term, it means that how well your model adapt with
Lain. Ini bisa masukin gambar nggak sih bang di apa ini namanya? Oh bisa. Bagus juga bro ini bro aplikasinya bro. Bisa nulis, bisa bikin tabel, bisa masukin gambar.
Anjay.
Nice, nice, nice. Ini kali ya.
changes. There are 4 kinds of general changes. How well does your model deal with adjustments when you are working on your model? When you see some mistake when you're working on it, or afterwards you see a mistake, you would go back and fix it. how well does your model, adapt to those changes? If you fix part A, would it break part B, or affect something else? Or would you have to, if part A has like 4 key forms, do you have to fix individually each of them every time? Modification is more about something that's already working. You want to try, or you have to try, various different approaches in order to see if what's the best result, what is the best to portray the personality of the character most fittingly. That's modification. Expansions is about when you have some features in your model already, or some movements that it can do, some actions it can do. What if you need to add a new one in? What if you need to add a new key form? What if you need to add some more parts to the same parts that are already working? These are expansions. Can your model expand? Can your model make more things to it? Inheritance is when you have to transfer work from one version to another version of the same part. So some characters have multiple outfits. They have the default ones. They want a summer one, they want a winter one, Christmas one. They want to have uniform, all kinds of different kind of outfits, different kind of versions. Or you have different versions of your hand. So say like you have the hand gesture of a palm, you have the hand gesture of a fist, and these are different kind of hands. Can you give it a new hand form without doing the arm part all over again? Or you have another character that is the same standing pose, the same art style. Can you transfer work over? That's scalability. What we're talking about is that when your parameter technique will increase or decrease your scalability. Parameter arrangement is one of the things that is critical to scalability. If you're doing it right, if you follow good practices, you follow principles, you follow good habits, then you will save workload, save time, and therefore you got more money. If you're doing it wrong though, you'll give yourself a lot of work. You give your clients a lot of work to check your stuff, because sometimes your client asks you to fix part A. He doesn't know if part B and C and D have been changed in the process. He doesn't know if it's consistently the same, other parts keep maintained the same as you've changed the first part. So you're giving a client a lot more work to check on your stuff every time you submit. And then you will put a lot of limits on your model, how many things it can do. Right? So you see model A doing one thing, you see model B doing the other thing, you see model C doing its own thing. Can you have all of those features, all those functions apply on the same model? If you have bad parameter techniques, likely that you're not able to put as many things as you wanted to on your model. Now, not all Live 2D needs to care about scalability. Creative Live 2D doesn't, and I've said this in my previous episodes, in my introduction video. Creative Live 2D serve one purpose. They are designed to do one thing before they even start, and they just deliver the final result in the best performance, in the best form possible. So they're not meant to be scalable. Technically, they're not meant to be scalable, and that's why if you gotta know what you're doing. If you look at Creative Live 2D and you don't do it, that's normal, right? But if you're doing Technical Live 2D, please think about scalability, and we'll talk about why as we move on. And before we move on, I want to also mention that sometimes you do need to break the rules. I'm about to teach you the rules with the parameters, but you can break them only when you're ready to. And I do break rules all the time. Often in a lot of my models, they don't follow everything I teach you right now. But first you gotta master the fundamentals, and then you know what you're doing, you know what the risk you're taking, and you know how to make precaution measures before doing them, so to ensure that it doesn't break, it doesn't do wrong things other than the thing you want it to do. So rule number one is that, or that's actually just one rule, is that you shouldn't have more than 2 parameters per object. If you select an object, it could be a deformer, it could be an art mesh. I haven't talked about deformer yet, but we'll talk about it later. But if you select something on the canvas and they show up in green dots, which parameter that this object is active in, it has registered keyforms in, you don't want to see more than 2 parameters light up at the same time. And in this graph, you're looking at 3 of them, and that's already wrong. Well, not wrong, but as red green. But if you select something on the canvas, action measures before. So rule number 1 is that, or there's actually just one rule, is that you shouldn't have more than 2 parameters per object. If you select an object, it could be a deformer, it could be an art mesh. I haven't talked about deformer yet, but we'll talk about it later. But if you select something on the canvas and they show up in green dots, which parameter that this object is active in, it has registered keyforms in, you don't want to see more than 2 parameters light up at the same time. And in this graph, you're looking at 3 of them, and that's already wrong. Well, not wrong, but it's already dangerous, and it's violating the rule, the good principle of having a scalable Live2D. Now let's talk about why you shouldn't, all right? Here's an example. Let's say you have parameter A that has keyforms 0 and 1. You have parameter B with 2 keyforms, 0 and 1. So you got a total of 4 combinations. It can do 4 different unique states that it can transform into. If you got A0 and B0, you got the default. If you have A0 and B1, it does B. If it's A1 and B0, it does A. And you got A1 and B1, you got A and B. Which gives us this table, and this is the default, A0 and B0. When A1 and B0 you get A, and A0 and B1 you get B, and A1 and B1 you get A, B. For example, if this is the case of the mouth, you can say this is the A is like the shape of the mouth. So this is a normal mouth with normal smile, and this is a big smile. So this is very happy. This is the default state. Yeah. And this is B is basically representing mouth open and closed, where 0 is closed, 1 is open. So at the normal default state, when the mouth is a natural smile that is closed mouth, you got this default A0, B0. And then A1, B0 is when it's smiling with a big smile. A0, B1 is when it's a normal open mouth talking, default state when the default neutral expression when it's talking.
malu Jimek.
AB is when it's talking, when the mouth is fully open in a very happy mouth shape. So this is kind of the idea of having 2 parameters, A0, B0. Smile that is closed mouth open and closed, where 0, yeah. Case of the mouth, you can say this is the A is like the shape of the mouth. So this is a normal mouth with normal smile, and this is a big smile. So this is very happy. This is the default state, yeah. And this is B is basically representing mouth open and closed, where 0 is closed, 1 is open. So at the normal default state, when the mouth is a natural smile that is closed mouth, you got this default A0, B0. And then A1, B0 is when it's smiling with a big smile. A0, B1 is when it's a normal open mouth talking, default state when the default neutral expression when it's talking. AB is when it's talking, when the mouth is fully open in a very happy mouth shape. So this is kind of the idea of having 2 parameters, each with 2 keyforms. Think about now, what if we add a third one, parameter C, with 2 keyforms, 0 and 1? How much workload would it create or increase? Now you will see 3 parameters in your param panels. There's A, B, and C, each with 2 green dots. You may think 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. All right, so you got 6 keyforms to deal with. No, because when you had the third one in with 2 parameters, you actually are having total of 8.
Lalu nontonin gua nggak jelas goblok.
Times 2, you have 8 different keyforms to work with. Now think about what if you have 3 params, each with 3 keyforms. How does that scale up? Okay, so I think we'll look at an actual example right here before we continue. Let's say this is the final work that you have. You have angle X left and right, you have angle Y up and down and up, and then you have angle Z. You can assume that this is 3 keyforms instead of 5. I mean, I have 5 here because I need to polish some points here, but you got 3 here, so it's 3, 3, and 3. How many keyforms do you deal with? Do you think it's 9? No, because just by angle X and Y, you already have 8 keyforms to deal with. There's this, there's up, top right, right, bottom right, low, down, and then bottom left, left, and upper left. So you already got 8 directions to 8 keyforms to deal with. And if you stack up with the third parameter with 3 keyforms, you are asking a total of 26 keyforms to work on. So your workload will grow exponentially if you stack up your parameters in the same. Your work 6 keyforms to work on. So your workload will grow exponentially if you stack up your parameters in the same object. And same with body, you may have body X, body Y, and then you may have body Z. Alright? And in fact, in my model, I got up to like 6 parameters for just the body movement. So how much workload does that give me if I put them all on the same object? So let's do the math. 1 param, 3 keyforms. Great. 2 params, 8 keyforms. Plus 1 default, right? So you don't have to deal with that 1 default one, but you got 8 to deal with. 3 params, each with 3 keyforms, a total 26 keyforms. One head has at least 14 objects, and basically like 5 hairs, 2 eyes, 2 brows, 1 nose, and 1 mouth, and maybe inner mouth, maybe teeth, maybe there's iris, there's eyeballs, there's upper eyelash, side eyelash, lower eyelash. You got way more than that. So let's say roughly around 14 things with the face and with 2 ears, you know. We got 14 things to deal with, each having 3 params and 3 keyforms.
Halo bang, halo Supitik.
1 head times 3 parameters with 3 keyforms each. We're talking about 14 parts times 26 keyforms. You gotta work with 364 keyforms. How many minutes does it take you to finish 1 keyform? Alright, let's say 10 minutes per keyform, a total of 60 hours of work. 60 hours of work just to do a head that doesn't even blink, doesn't even talk, and just move around. And if you say like, okay, you're an entry-level junior, or you cheat the lowest price in the market, you're charging around maybe $12 per hour. How much are you supposed to charge? A total of $722 for just
Rigging gimana bang? Susah kah tutorialnya? Nggak tahu, gue juga baru mulai nih.
a simple head that doesn't even blink or talk.
Kayaknya sih lumayan.
Alright, so imagine there is a better method. If I tell you that there's a good principle to follow, allows you to reduce 26 keyforms down to 10 keyforms. What does it mean? It means that it will save you 36 hours of work. It will save you
Apa?
400
Bukan orang India.
Orang Cina kayaknya dia.
$32 US dollars basically of the budget, right? So just by having good practice, you can drop your workload a lot, you can earn a lot more money because you don't have to charge that
Kalau
much,
kreatif
or you
jarang
won't be
dari India.
underpaid.
Biasanya ini bang, IT
That's
India.
about scaling up the problem.
Tutorial
All right.
basic, Bang, biasanya
Now let's scale even further. Let's talk about like what if it's an enterprise live 2D project, okay? If you got an enterprise project that you may charge $2,000, but because you have bad practice, that increase your workload by 2.6 times, and that's a total of $5,200. Okay, and the project has 40 models, normal, right? Enterprise project have 40 models like Bang Dream, Uta Prince, a few other examples, prime examples that use live 3D models. They got 40 or even more than that. Like Destiny Child has millions, not million, but like 100 of models, and the projects are big. You gotta multiply the math by the number of models you make. So if one model charges $5,200, all right, you got 40 models to do. We're talking about $122,000 difference. Because of this 2.6, you're increasing the budget for the enterprise project this much. Or think about another way to think about it is that if someone else with a bad practice, without following the principles that you're following with, someone else take 3 months to build a model. You take 1 month because you follow good principles. All right? Well, that means that you do things 3 times faster than the other guy does, or girl, the other person does. Or you can think that, by the time someone finished their first model, you already make 3. So that's something I want you to keep in mind as you proceed with this course. The more scalability that your model has, the less the project budget scales up. So the right answer to this magical technique that would reduce your keyforms from 26 down to 10 is deformers. Deformer is something that we'll talk about in 3 to 4 episodes down the road. We're not going to learn about it now, but I just want to leave you with a right answer in your head is that the only way to do this, or some way to do this, is to shift parameter task to deformers, from object to deformers, from art mesh to deformers, and deformers to another deformer, another to another deformer, and stack them up into a hierarchy. And with multiple deformers arranged properly, that's what we called a structure, that's what we called architecture. What I'm trying to say is that you gotta plan ahead, you gotta plan carefully with your parameters, who is doing what. And that way, you can save your workload, you can make your model scalable. This episode totally went over time, I'm sorry about that. There is another episode, bonus episode video that would show you a hands-on working of a model with the learning material, the little gray box, how we are going to try out with parameters, transformation, in order to understand why scalability matters. So go through that exercise, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. We'll talk more about parameter, and we'll talk about handy functions that could save you time, save you workload, so that you don't do labor work over and over again. Alright, so make sure you go over that one. Otherwise, if you miss it, I'll know it. I can tell that if you're asking questions that, about things that I mentioned in the extra episode, I know that you didn't watch it. So go ahead, take some time to watch it, open your cubism and follow along with it. Have some fun, right? So yeah, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Hello, this will be a exercise episode for episode 4. We talked about the theory of how things work in parameters, but this episode will be 10 minutes on actual hands-on experience. I hope you follow, so to get the most out of it. Besides listening to, theory, it's kind of boring. So let's try to get our hands dirty and work with the material. Open up your material folder like last time and just drag and drop into the canvas. There you are with the same setup as last time, but this time we don't need this pink guy, so we'll select and hit delete and it will remove that. Alright, so we have the gray guy and we want to have it to go to position A, B, and C. So go up, left, and then top left. That's the objective we want it to do. Let's give it some simple left to position A, B, and C. So go up, left, and then top left. That's the objective we want it to do. Let's give it some simple polygon structure to start with. We'll do this. I'll explain why we do this later. It's kind of weird, but we'll stick with that. Now we need 2 new parameters first. All right, so let's create new param. Like we learned last time. We'll call this go up. Let's actually start with go left. Param go left, and then the minimum would be -1, maximum would be 1. Sorry, it would be 0 because we want to have 2 keyforms only. All right.
0 anjing.
We want to have 0 and -1. -1 means it's going left, -0 means where it started. All right, so in theory, right here, if we slide this perimeter, 0 would be where it starts, and when we get to -1, it should go to the left side. But let's not start yet. Let's give another param, go up. All right, this param is go up, and we will have minimum 0, default 1, and maximum as 1, where 1 in max is basically going up. All right, so I mean, yeah, it's we have this horizontal parameter, but actually vertically, it should be vertically. All right, there's no way to do that, but we'll go with what it is. So first thing is we will give go left 2 keyforms, and we'll give go up 2 keyforms. Now we have 4 keyforms to work with. We know what to do individually, so we'll take on them one by one. First, let's do go left. We will go to -1 on go left perimeter, and we'll move it over here. So now it should go left. On go left perimeter, and we'll move it over here. So now it should go left. Check and see.
Oh.
That's what we want. Now let's move it back to the original position so we know where up is at the right above it when it starts. All right. So when go left is 0, let's make go up to +1 and move upwards. Now we have go up. Now we have go left. So the last thing here is to move it to top left, and that's pretty intuitive. Like, let's try to go left and then go up. All right, let's go left and then go up. Okay, that's weird. It goes right instead. I mean, it's supposed to go up. Let's do that again. Let's try to go up. Well, that seems to work. Why when it's left, go up, it would go right instead, right? Why seems to work? Why up? Let's do that again. Let's try to go up. Well, that seems to work. Why when it's left, go up, it would go right instead, right? Why does it change its direction? Did it rotate? Did it get confused? Or what's going on? All right, so let's try not this approach. Let's try to go up and then left. All right, let's go up, and then this should go left, right? It should reach here, right? But then if we do that, it goes down. So why does going left suddenly becomes up and down, and sometimes going left becomes, or going up becomes left and right? All right, that is so not what we want to do. So what we'll try next is that we will have this icon here, this little link perimeter icon. Click on it, and it would merge with, we will merge 2 perimeters, the one that you click on and the one directly below it. All right, so if you click on angle X, it will merge with angle Y. If you click on angle Y, it will merge with angle Z. So anything that is right below it, it will merge into a group. And this is a grid representation of the keyforms, of the 4 keyforms that we have. And like we see, up and left makes sense. Top left, not so. All right, so no matter how we try to drag this point to top left, it will just go back to, it just refuse this side and just go back to its home.
Telekinetic,
Okay?
bos.
So what happened? What happened is that at the moment we create 2 parameters and give them 2 keyforms, total of 4 keyforms, they are all implied that home is what they're supposed to do. And that's why nothing is done when we first create all 4 sides, all right? If we remove them and then apply them again with 2 keyforms, all keyforms here are implied that they're supposed to go home. Now, what we first did is go into left side and say this goes left. Now we have a left, but these 3 keyforms would still be home. All right, let's go to the up keyform and tell it to go up. And now we have these 2. Now we're missing the 4th one. It's the 3rd one. Simple as that. All right, go to the 3rd one, move here, and instantly that is done. Simple as that. You see how this is reflecting this movement. Okay, so we have two parameters.
Eh,
Each with two keyforms. That gives us 4 keyforms to work on. We have to define 4 keyforms, all right? Okay, what if we have the third one? What if we add another parameter? Let's say this is called shape. And shape has 2 keyforms, 0 and 1. 0 and 1. And what shape does is that it will transform into a triangle. So we added another parameter. There seems to be 6 keyforms in front of us. How many keyforms are we working with? 6? Well, let's try to take a closer look. Let's tell it to go left. This triangle, because in a square shape, in a square shape that we have go left already, we have go up already. Then what we have a triangle form shape right now, can it go left? Okay, it can go left, but obviously it's not a triangle that we want. So let's try to transform that too. Well, this is all over again, right? So we have the triangle form, we have going left, we have the home position, and we're missing going up. And then we have finally top left. Roughly a triangle. And now we have this. When we get to square shape, we also have this. So my point is, by adding one simple parameter with one simple extra key form, that is doubling the amount of work, repeating what we did but slightly different. The math is not 3 times 2 equals 6. The math is 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. And you may say that it doesn't look a lot right now. I mean, it's just a minute of workload. So what's the main difference? Do we have to be so elitist that every second matter, and we're trying to compete, how to cut down by the split second, like a speed running competition? It's not that yet, but we can think about, what if we scale this up? What if we do this in a real case? So imagine that we're not doing up and left. Imagine that we're not doing the shape thing. We're doing angle X, Y, Z, because this is a face. All right, so let's move this here. Set this to be the home. And let's say we have angle X that goes left side. Okay, let's go left, and the other angle X to go right. I'm just pretending that this is a face object that would slightly turn to the other side. All right, so imagine this is a face that would look left, look right. You get that feeling, all right?
Gimana
Now
tadi?
let's give it this is a face that would look left.
No. Miring bang katanya bang. Miring dikit bos. Miring dikit.
Look right, object that would slightly turn to the other side. Face. I'm just pretending that this is a face object that would slightly turn to the other side. Alright, so So imagine this is a face that would look left, look right, you get that feeling, alright? Now let's give it an angle Y that would, you could look up and look down, okay? So let's go up, and let's say this looking up. And that would, you could look up and look down, okay? So let's go up, and let's say this looking up. Sometimes little pixels of movement already gives a lot difference, and that's all it takes. Little pixels of movement already gives a lot difference, and that's all it takes to do live 2D. You gotta know by every pixel, does it matter or does it not matter? Alright, so this is up, and this is down matter. Alright, so this is up, and this is down. Right, so that took us like, right, so that took us like a minute, right? Oh, but again, now we have 4 points. What do you have next? We have another 4 points that are diagonal angles, right? These are not done. We only done 1, 2, 3, 4. We haven't done like these 2, okay? I mean these 4s. Well, some people may say, yeah, we have actually a tool for it. It's called the synthesize corner tool. If you select the object, we go to the menu, modeling, the synthesize, done like these 2, okay? I mean these 4s. Well, some people these 2, okay? I mean these 4s. Well, some people may say, yeah, we have actually a tool for it. It's called the synthesize corner tool. If you select the object, we go to the menu, modeling, parameter, and there's a synthesize corners tool. Or the shortcut is Ctrl 4, which I abuse a lot. I press Ctrl 4, I get there, I press OK. 4, which I abuse a lot. I press Ctrl 4, I get there, I press OK, and all that is takes to do all 8 corners or 8 keyforms. So yay, we got that done, but Of course, every face don't just turn like that. We also have a very common movement, which is angle Z, that would tilt to the rotate to right side, and the other rotate to the left side. All right, so we have this. Like the head is rotating. Oh, but what do we have now? We have, all right, so right side, go Z, that would tilt to the rotate to right side, and the other rotate to the left side. All right. So we have this. Like the head is rotating. Oh, but what do we have now? We have 3 parameters, each have 3 keyforms. How many keyforms do we need to do? All right, we know the math. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, less the default form, which is at home, so we got 26 keyforms. We have 26 keyforms to do in order to complete one face object. So let's give it a try. Let's go to angle Z, tilt it, and check those corners. Well, it's still adapting. It's still simply the same as any of the angle Z at the original state, that it does the all 8 directions, but it doesn't do the tilting except for home, because obviously we haven't told those parts to tilt. We only told the home to tilt. So we gotta tilt this guy. So at home we tilt around like 30 degrees maybe. So let's go here and tilt it 30 degrees as well. And we'll tilt 30. We'll tilt 30. And we'll tilt 30. And we have done 4 extra. The other side as well. Let's go to this side. Let's tilt 40. Tilt 40. Tilt 40 or 30, I don't know how many degrees that is, but you start to get my point, right? We're supposed to stay consistent in order to be professional. We're not just roughly saying that, okay, this is what, 35, 30, yeah, whatever, it's the same. That's not gonna get you a career, right? So you want to be consistent. You want to be, if the home says this is tilting 30 and actually this tilt 30s, and then slightly shift to the left side too, in order to have like shift the anchor point, the pivot point to be somewhere down there on the neck instead of middle of the face, right? So we're supposed to tilt exactly the amount of degree we tilt at home, which is, let's say it's 30. So this gotta be promisingly 30 degree and slightly shift to the left. Promisingly 30 degree, shift to the left, 30 degree shift to the left, and 30 degree shift to the left. Okay, the other side as well, to the right, to the right, to the right, and to the right. Now I don't know if they're actually 30. Well, I mean, we can at this point we can do Control 4 again. When angle Z is 30, we can do Control 4 again and get the 8 sides or the other remaining 4 corners done for us. Like you can see, somewhat unstable, it's jiggling a bit. You see that? You see this right here? Why is it not smoothly transitioning the Y, the angle Y? Okay, let's go to the other side. We can check again. All these 4 points are tilting left, but the corners are not tilting left yet. All we have to do is Control 4, Press OK, and that should get it done for us. But again, it's not very stable. You can see that this guy's wiggling a lot. This is not a smooth transition that a high quality and aesthetic Live 2D would be doing, right? So what's happening? Probably there's a lot of factors here, but probably it's because some of them are not exactly tilting very nice at the same amount of
jadi
degree
jadi
or
VTuber
shifting
bang
the
yang
same
gitu, Bang.
amount to right.
Lagi belajar rigging.
Bukan yang
Lagi.
itu. Yang lagi live. Kontol.
Siapa bang gua?
Total bang.
Si kontol.
Aku kah bang?
Konok kontol tol.
Oh itu bang, yang itu bang, yang kanan atas bawah bebek.
Iya yang bawa bebe bang.
Mengerikan
Anjir udah jadi
Jut.
VTuber ID bang, gue liat anjing.
Ya emang anjing.
Mengerikan.
Side to the left side. These are minor factors because all it does, Control 4, is synthesize a corner doing simple math, saying that this times this
Lah,
equals
gua nggak
this.
akan-
And
gua
if
nggak akan
these two
lupa,
guys
anjir.
are not consistent, then this
Jadi
one is not
aku
going to go
agak
well.
nyerna kan berapa lah detik.
Now
Gitu,
that's
anjing.
the lesson of the day. We may have tools to help us
Gua lagi
get
live
things
btw.
somewhat done, but if we're being
Lagi live.
strict, if we're being precise
Nggak apa-apa.
Enggak kan,
and
enggak langsung
consistent,
bener-bener.
these are qualities that professional live TV should
Gila,
have.
Bang, belajar
Otherwise,
telekinesis
companies don't know
gitu,
how to use your stuff when you say, yeah, it's around the same
Anjing,
30
palanya baru
degree,
gua
yeah, it's
nengokin,
around
anjir.
4
Sumpah,
inches to
susah
the
banget,
left.
gabung.
You know, these
Gabung
aren't the
palanya
things
sobat,
that
anjing.
clients want to
Lihat,
hear.
lihat,
Not even
Medok
company.
lagi belajar telekinesis, yo.
Lah gua aja gerakin box doang anjing.
Mana sih?
Belajar
not even like-
telekinesis.
Don't say company projects. Even for indie projects,
Makin
for a
banyak
client to
titik,
pay
makin rap ini
maybe
kan,
120
makin
bucks
smooth gerakan
to you to get
dari
things done.
karakternya.
If you're giving this kind
Ya, tapi
of
makin
rough
banyak juga
work,
yang lalu harus
that's not like I don't
belokin.
like personally. I'm gonna judge a little
Kenapa
bit.
nggak
Like
ada ini ya?
you think that that's
AI
okay, and
atau
you
apa
actually
gitu
submit
yang
that because
mempermudah
of your
penggerakannya.
method. You know, complete showing that you don't care that much. All right, so is there a better way to do this? Because if there's better ways to do this, if there's less work to this, like I said in my main episode 4, is that this can be
Anjing
done
GG banget tutorialnya ini
with
ya.
just 10 keyforms instead of what we could talk like 26 keyforms. We can do it in 10
Menurut lu
keyforms instead of
udah
26
make
if you
sense
use the
belum,
right.
Lik? Lihat deh.
Mana?
Mana.
Baik kan ya dia botak anjing. Dia botak nih.
Mana? Cara kanan.
Baik kan
Cara kanan.
dia botak ya.
Nah.
Baru jadi tuh gua iniin
Iya.
dulu.
Itu lumayan semut. Tapi oh ya,
Tapi gue tuh bingung, mata yang kanan tuh jelek banget anjir.
kayak juling lah.
Nggak juling anjir. Kayak nggak ngadep yang sama gitu loh anjir.
Tarik dikit aja. Kali.
Iya nih gimana cara masukin dia ke dalam ya?
Tarik ke dalam kali.
Belajar cok, belajar rigging semua. Kalian mau jadi rigger kah?
Gua gabut anjing.
Rigging mahal anjing, gue bingung anjir.
Daripada jadi artis mending jadi rigger. Cok lebih mahal dibayarnya goblok. Tolol kah?
Iya, padahal artis tuh susah loh awalnya.
Artis tuh belajar anjir. Kalau udah paham mah. Udah ini anjir.
Matanya ya
Gimana ya?
kurang. Kepalanya bagus.
Iya yang kanan anjir. Ya cok gimana ya?
Yang kiri udah bagus bang.
Iya yang ini udah bagus kan? Yang ini udah bagus kan?
Emang kamu mau sebanyak ini ya?
Yang kanan berarti harus ditarik ke kiri dikit nggak sih kanannya supaya nggak terlalu panjang? Nggak tahu sih. Kayaknya sih gitu. Don't know.
Kecil kan kanan kiri semua harusnya. Nggak-
Iya, yang kanan juga harusnya
ukurannya.
ngecil.
Coba kau rekam kau lagi noleh kanan kiri. Harusnya bisa jadi referensi.
Cuma gua tahu dah belum nyampe situ bang.
Right methods if you use the right techniques, right? So following principles is what we talked about in the lecture is that
Baru bisa
principles
mindahin
save
box
you
doang bang, mantap juga nih.
higher quality
Tutorialnya
and will
sangat
save you
step by
time and
step.
budget. And this would give
Belajar
people
telekinesis,
reason to
Bang.
hire you.
Bahannya juga dikasih nih.
So I hope we learned what we need to learn
Gua
today,
step by
and
step dari ini
about the
aja.
former, which is the final
Dari-
solution, we will
Dari siapa lo?
Dari cari aja live to di rigging VTuber Ada playlistnya nih. Tapi langsung VTuber gitu.
Oh,
You'll learn in the later
Dia juga
episodes.
ngasih ini
We do
anjir.
4 episodes down the
Ngasih
road.
model yang
And
kayak
let's
baru.
hold on to that for now, and I'll see you guys again next episode. There are 4 slightly hidden functions that each program offers. They are extremely handy. They save you time from a lot of manual labor work, because using them help you avoid human mistakes. Especially working on a 50-hour piece, you get tired, your senses go numb, that's when regretful mistakes happen. Learn to rely on these 4 functions. That's how you submit a high-polished, complex life-duty work. Right-click on a param. Notice that there's a drop-down menu on the far right. The 4 buttons there are Select, Reflect, Adjust, and Change. We will go through them in this episode. Select is for auto-selecting all the objects on canvas that has active keyforms on this parameter. How's this useful? For beginners, not a lot of usage that would come to mind. But as you gain experience, you would see more and more creative ways to abuse this function to solve problems. For example, this is easy to tell if you accidentally registered keyform on an object that isn't supposed to be related. Or for example, when you're about to finish the head for angle XY, you feel like the head should be higher above when it turns upward. You may manually select all the objects that you remember that it has angle Y, but for getting one, you would have a bad time. Use the select function instead. Then tap your arrow key to move the whole head. Quick and safe. Reflect is fairly literal. It reflects all the keyforms on this param for objects that you have selected. If you don't select anything, nothing would be affected. If you select one or more, then the selected ones would be affected. How is this useful? What if you're done with the model already and you realize that your eyebrow form is reversed in face rig, such that in face rig, when you raise your eyebrow in front of the camera, your model frowns. It appears that face rig consider positive maximum is upward arc and negative minimum is downward arc. But you did the opposite, so the model does the opposite. So now, simply use the select function on brow R form parameter, which would select all the correct objects for you, and then you hit reflect and then you're done. Adjust is a great tool for manipulating keyforms on a parameter. It is not usual a beginner would find the need for this, but for pros, this tool offers a lot of creative tricks. This tool allows you to change the keyform's value for the selected objects. In this chart you're seeing, the left column are the param values of the current keyforms. The right side is for you to set a new value for any one of them, or multiple ones of them. The only thing to keep in mind is that you cannot press OK if any 2 keyforms have the same value. So say that we have eye open param, where 0 is closed and 1 is the default open eyes. Now, by character design, we decide that this default state of the eyes is actually just the half open state, which sensibly it should be a keyform on 0.5 instead 1. We can select all the eye open objects, then use adjust to change the 1.0s to 0.5s. This will leave our param missing a keyform for 1.0. Simply add a keyform back in and work from there. Another example usage is that sometimes our application that uses this model has a linear traveling speed on the parameter. When it travels from the minimum to the maximum value on a param, the pace maintains the same.
Hidup itu menyenangkan.
But what
bos.
happens if we have a middle keyform? However,
Saking menyenangkannya
visually
bingung
the
aku
state of the
dalam
middle
kehidupan.
keyform is not exactly in the middle. Say like elbow rotation between -30 and 30, 0 is more closer to 30 than the state in -30. Then your animation that swings the arm from -30 to 30, the arm would first move slowly and suddenly swings forcefully. It would look like the application lagged, but it is really only doing what you instructed it to do. Take a look. 30 to 0 on the param is a 5-degree rotation, and 0 to -30 is a 30-degree swing, which means on the right half of the param, every 6 units is 1-degree arm rotation. Passing the midpoint to the left half, every 1 unit is 1 degree, which is 6 times faster. So, if your application, let it be face rake or just your own animation in Animator, using this model to do an arm rotation from -30 to 30 on the parameter, the motion though would be funky and inconsistent. So pay attention to keyform distribution on the parameter, and don't thoughtlessly create unnecessary keyforms. Change is simple. It basically allows you to change the selected param for the selected items to any other params with the keyforms copied over. But be careful with this process. With the keyforms copied param for the selected items to any other params with the keyforms copied over. But be careful with this process. Remember that our params don't all have the same min-max value. So if the original param has a min-max of -30 and 30, changing to one that has a min-max of -1 and 1, then some of the keys will be out of range of the new params bound. You may only see the midpoint showing on the param after you change it. You wonder why with one keyform things are still moving slightly. Well, that is because -30 and 30 keyforms still exist and they are in effect. It's just that they are beyond the boundary, and so they don't show up in your parameter. In an opposite case, if the original one has a smaller boundary than the new one that has a wider boundary, then you see 3 keyforms clustered up in the middle. To fix either occurrence, use the adjust function. You can first use the select function to select all the objects on this param, and then use adjust to change the min-max value that are either beyond the boundary or clustered in the middle to the actual new min-max value. And after doing that, you are done. That's all for this video. I hope you guys benefit from utilizing these 4 functions.
Mari lanjut, kontol.
This will be the last episode on parameters. We will talk about how to delete keyforms, how to recover the initial state of a drawing, how to reset the art mesh, and we'll talk about common mistakes with parameters, why they happen, how to avoid them, and how to fix them when you do make a mistake. We'll also talk about some design rules for param keyform values, and how not to reset your parameter and keyforms. So let's get to how to delete keyforms. So you already have some keyforms, some green dots created in your parameters. Here are 3 ways that you can delete the keyforms. This model, for example, it has a body X movement. All it does is shifting shape like that. Now let's say on this parameter there are 5 keyforms and I don't need 2 of them. I don't need the 610
Anjing banget cok
and I don't need
notif
the
Discord
-610.
sekarang bunyinya.
I only need the -10, the 0, and +10. There are a few ways to delete this. And the first way I'll show you is to do the manual edit keyform function. You press this button while the object is selected, it will pop up a dialog that shows all the keyforms registered for this parameter for this object. You can select multiple objects that share the same parameter, that is active on the same parameter, and they would show all the points for any of them has on. For this particular one, we have -10, -6, 0, 6, and 10 as listed here. We can simply select this point and say, I don't need number 2, I don't need value -6. So I select this point and I press this button. It would ask you to confirm it because whatever work you did to that point will be gone. Once you press yes, it should be gone and you don't see the red dot here on -6. Another way to do it is to directly click on the red dot. This would also make the dot disappear. You press OK and everything would be gone. Another way to make a keyform disappear is that notice these two buttons over here. One is green and one is the grayed out button that says with a red slash over it. The green one obviously is for creating, and the black one, the gray one, is basically for removing. You may also notice this button right here. It looks like the remove one dot, except that the dot is longer, which means it will remove all the dots on this parameter. This button is also seen in the keyform edit dialog right here. So if you press this button, all the dots will be removed. Or I can press here and remove all. Now remember, these buttons only work for the objects that you're selected. So if you have more than one object that also have the green dots on body X, you would have to select all of them or one by one each of them to remove the dots that you want to remove. The last tool to talk about is a tool that allows you to recover the initial state of the drawing. Now in case you have found that your art mesh, usually in its default state, that it looks different, it looks morphed, it looks transformed, or it's not in the right position or in the right rotation, then you can always select the art mesh and then go to the top menu. There should be a tab modeling. Under modeling there should be edit shape, and under edit shape there should be a button that says revert to original. Now we'll move on to talking about 3 common mistakes. First, the art looks different from the original PSD. Second, sometimes some parts goes invisible. And I don't mean like fading out, I mean like instantly, poof, it's gone. Thirdly, inconsistent movement speed in animation. There are 2 rules for designing parameter keyforms. I'll go through them quickly and then I'll go through them one by one in details. The first rule is that always put the min-max keyform values. So you always want one green dot at the far left and one green dot at the far right on the parameter, whenever there is dots. Second of all, one default keyform. Always keep one green dot that holds the default keyform. I don't care if you have 2 keyforms or 3 or 4, there's always gotta be at least one guy who is the default state of the object itself, let it be an art mesh, rotation deformer, or rod deformer. The parents can move them, but themselves should not have any editing. Alright, so in that one default keyform, don't add it, don't delete, just don't touch it. So why do you need add key value? Alright, what happens if the min-max value is missing? Have you ever experienced the art mesh disappearing, and no matter what you do, you look through everything is at 100% opacity, and all the folders or the parts in the parts tree is not turned invisible? Why is your art mesh disappearing? And how do you investigate that? So right here, the slime, this object, and this deformer has 3 points, body Y, and I just deleted body X earlier. Now I recreate body X. Okay? And let's say I will quickly do some simple movement in the deformer. Like that. And then the other side, like that. So now it does this. Alright, so we have the min and max, the edge keyforms registered. That's no problem. But what if I remove just 1 point? It suddenly disappears. So it reappears whenever you go above 0 and all the way to positive 10. And the body wide don't matter. It always does not make a change, right? If it's apparent, it will always be apparent. If it's gone, it will always be gone no matter how you move the y. Alright. So something's wrong with this parameter.
Sibuk kerja kah Bang Kurban?
The reason the cause of it is because I removed 1 point, and that is the negative 10.
Anjay, kenapa mas Bang Kurban?
Sakit apa Kurban?
Masa emang penyakit murahan? Demam lah apalagi goblok.
Kenapa nggak sekarat aja, Kur?
Jangan, Bang, gua belum bikin surat wasiat, Bro.
Aduh.
Mengerikan dong Bang Kurban ini Bang.
Ngentut emang.
Kirain pundung Bang nih.
Gara-gara
Mas
siapa,
gua
Bang,
cok
pundung?
kemarin pulang jam 6 kan, biasa pulang jam 6. Langsung tidur gua nih.
Kirain udah sukses Kur.
Anjay.
Goblok masih magang sukses anjing.
Kecapean buat kopi, Kak Kur?
Enggak, cok. Gue bilang, gue bikin web kan. Bikin web fitur satu-satu, gak bakal gue kerjaan semua. Ntar gue dapet kerjaan lain.
Anjay, pinter.
Nah, elah.
Pinter gitu, Kur. Ngatur kerjaan. Anak baru tumben pinter.
Oh anjing, di perusahaan ini anjing teman bapak gue.
Iya, misalnya
Nyuruh
kalau
juga
selesai,
segan yang lain anjing.
misalnya kalau selesai kan satu kerjaan lain, biasanya atasan tuh ngasih ini, Cok, apa namanya?
Nggak ada atasan.
Kerjaan mana?
Atasannya tuh owner doang. Ownernya nggak di kantor. Jarang kantor deh. Kan dia IO event.
Anjay.
Semangat gue bang, nih bang jadi data scientist bang.
Aing juga semangat
orang.
Bang. Jadi ini Bang.
Ya apa?
Jadi rigging Bang.
Alhamdulillah.
Nah, anjing aja ternyata Bang nggak usah jago gambar.
Rigging apa nggak jago gambar anjing?
Cuma jago fisik aja Bang.
Pasti apa gaya-gayanya kan,
Kira-kira lah gitu. Kalau
gerak-gerakannya.
gerak gini gimana?
Sendi bang, belajar sendi.
Yoi bro. Nggak bisa ngehapus satu window dari display capture ya.
Satu window.
Nih gue display capture nih. Tapi gue pengen nge-hide satu window aja. Nggak bisa ya?
Bawah.
Iya yang di bawah kiri nih.
Nggak bisa. Nggak ada ini ya, nggak ada DLC-nya apa sih?
Bisanya cuma ini doang apa? Window OBS doang yang dihapus.
Ada emang bener bikin apa, beli second monitor bang?
Mengeri kontol bos.
TV aja lu, TV ada gak?
Ada.
Nah iya menjadi second monitor ya bang.
Jing TV gue gede loh, 40 in loh.
Ya udah yang TV sekarang jadi second monitor.
Oh, nggak enak anjing kalau main monitornya pakai TV.
Iya, nggak enak begitu 60 fps doang anjing.
Refresh rate-nya kecil, terus resolusinya kecil.
Resolusinya 1080, TV 40.
Iya, cok, males banget.
Pecah.
Terus terlalu nusuk kayaknya warnanya.
TV-nya kan bisa diganti color.
Tetap aja bang, tidak sesantai monitor gitu bang warnanya tuh. Kenapa ya? Beda kali LCD-nya bang.
Gua main Dota dulu di TV 50 inch anjing. Nangak gua ke atas anjing.
Nggak enak anjing. Ke Gmail dulu bang. Ada apa-apa bro? Coba yang satu lagi. Ada apa-apa bro?
Subscribe-nya baik banget bang, subscription-nya.
Subscription naon anjing?
Itu sampah gitu lah.
Cara ngapusnya gimana sih?
Di unsubscribe lah.
Satu-satu kah?
Iya.
Nggak ada list gitu yang gue sub apa aja.
Nggak.
Males anjing. Jelek amat lah. Tahu gue soalnya suka gue next terus bang. Nggak gue baca.
Now, this happens maybe not in your awareness, all right? Maybe you open someone else's model, or somewhere in the process of doing a few steps, you are not aware that you did something to it, and until later realize that, hey, I'm trying to test my model and somehow it's gone. So what you can do is think of, okay, something to do with body X. Which parameter is it? All right. Now be careful, because always remember that for one object or for one entity, there could be multiple objects registered with body X. All right. For example, if I click on the art mesh itself, it says there is body X. Okay. Then I'm thinking, okay, this object must be responsible to the problem. All right. So I look around, I look at the inspector, and I'm seeing like, well, it's disappearing. Is it the opacity? Okay. But no matter which point I move on, I click on, and it was always on the opacity equals 100%. Okay. So even the moment it disappears, it still says it's 100%. All right. It is not because of the draw order shifting it behind something. All right. If you only have the eyes disappearing, you may think, okay, the eyes maybe is behind the body. Maybe that's why it's disappearing. All right. But it's not the draw order either. All right. So this is the moment when you realize, wait, something is really wrong. It has to be this object. The body X is controlled with this art mesh, and nothing is wrong with the parameter. Now, so this is the point where you want to think, okay, is this really, really the only factor? Is this only player in this game? All right. So what you want to do is go up and check a few layers top. All right. So you can either
Minato Aqua.
Balik.
Indie dia sekarang.
Siapa namanya?
Sakuna. Sakuna cowok.
Coba lihat
Masih sama anjing, bedanya doang. Beda warna dikit lah. Sakuna cahak.
Kenapa dia jadiin ya?
Ya udah, ini kan males bagi duitnya bang, bagi dua.
Riggingnya bagus gini bang. Ini baru rigging goblok.
Itu kan dia pakai model yang lama dah, cuma diganti warna doang.
Iya.
Sama pokoknya, mukanya sama.
Warna ininya juga sama, mata.
Iya, maksudnya matanya lebar sama.
Yang beda warna, rambutnya sama juga warnanya.
Iya, dia
Cuma beda style dong.
temanya itu kan dia aqua lebih biru ya, biru sama pink.
Konnichiwa, wajir konnichiwa semua bang.
Lu tahu kan dari itunya?
Oh iya bang, tulisannya bang. Arigato ini bang. Ini konnichiwa. Ini apa ini anjing?
Aku tahu, Cak.
Yotsuri. Naon anjing maksudnya, Cak?
Onegaishimasu kah?
Yopori. Yahari kali. Yahari naon anjing bahasa Indonya enggak tahu.
Yahari mah anime bang si itu.
Si kanji Ari, si kanji Awa. Tahu lah anjing enggak ngerti gua.
Anjir. Dewa bro.
Hajimemashite. Hajimemashite.
Mas.
A. Kanji I.
Su,
D.
Bang.
Sate. Anjing ngelir gue.
Sate.
Sate kudasai kah bang? Ih tanah. Hajimemashite. Banyak ya hajimemashite. Arigato. Okaeri bang. Kan iya bener Okaeri. Okaeri itu naon dong, selamat datang. Okaeri nasai gitu.
Kairi nasai
Fix through them.
anata.
Or you can
Bukan
press
disuruh.
Control D,
Itu kan
Anak anjing.
which would basically select immediate parents. Okay, until a point you find that alright, apparently there is a deformer, and this guy also have body X, and somehow
anjing.
the negative 10 value is not there. Okay, so what you want to try is adding it back in, and then instantly it reappears. Okay, you may not have the transformation that you previously had
Sama,
or what it's
sekalian
supposed
coba
to do. However, it
Apaan?
makes it appear,
Nah, sekalian
and that's
coba.
enough for our answer. Is
Nah, ini dia
okay,
lagi
the reason
ngejelasin
why it,
common
didn't
problem,
show
Bang.
up, it's because between the last
Lagi
point and
bukan nyoba.
the end point, there is no middle point.
Nyobain lagi episode berapa ya? Episode tahu dah. Ini episode 7 juga ada sebenarnya materialnya. Ini episode berapa? Episode 6. Coba kita lihat. Nih gimana caranya? Di save kah? Cara nge-save-nya gimana? Gue nggak tahu ini. Nggak bisa, save nggak bisa, export nggak bisa. Kah? Neo model. Episode 6 isinya cuma PPT doang kan. Episode 7 apa? Trial. Oh, episode 7 bang baru latihan lagi bang.
It doesn't know what information the transformation should be.
Anjing biru sama
Okay,
hitam dong.
so make sure that
Nah,
you
paling
have min and
digerak-gerakin.
max, otherwise things will disappear. And if things disappear,
slime, Bang.
one of the possible reason is
Well, kalau bikin
because
slime gitu
you're
bagus
missing a
juga ya.
point. So
Keren
now
tuh.
you know what it does to
Warna
the
putih tapi bukan
object.
slime.
It could be on the art mesh, it could be on the
Bikin
rotation,
kontol aja
it
gimana?
could be on one deformer.
Ngadep ke depan aja kontol.
Knowing knowing about this
Bisa ngaceng ke
behavior,
atas.
another common mistake is people
Keren
rely
gak
on
sih, anjing?
behavior. And they
Bengkok-bengkok
try
jadi
to think of this
Iya,
kind
Cuk.
of method for swapping between two textures. Okay, here's my note for you is that do not rely on this method to do.
lagi semangat tegang bang. Edit.
Ini keren kali ya bikin kontol kayak gitu ya bang. Kan gini nih. Ntar
Kontol
kita bikin nih bang.
anjing.
Kan ada buletan di tengahnya nih. Nah, terus di sini ada mukanya nih. Terus di sini ada biji. Terus kalau dia gerak ke kanan jadi gini. Jadi gini kan.
Kontol.
Kalau dia gerak ke kiri jadi gini.
Kayak Thomas gitu bang.
Kalau ke atas jadi gitu bang. Ke atas. Nah,
Aduh.
keren gak sih bro? Ke bawah jadi ke bawah.
Anjing
Kontol.
dia, Bang.
Nah gitu bro. Keren gak sih Lik? Gimana Lik menurut lu Lik?
Kalau kanan sama
Kita sensor goblok.
kanan sama bawah atas itu susah bang. Kayak yang ini yang pintu bermandi itu bang. Jadi kayak kuda gitu ntar.
Ya tergantung elunya sih.
Jadi kalau ke bawah kan kayak kuda. Tergantung ada gini sih.
Oh, tergantung.
Kalau
Turun
masih
apa ini?
matrix.
Nih kayak gini bang, ke atas ke bawah bang.
Anjing tolol, Cak.
Kan ke bawah, aing udah bikin kiri
Malah
kanan,
ngerikin kontol.
atas bawah, atas kanan, atas bawah, kiri bawah, atas bawah. Sama jet.
Rigging
Iya
kontol.
kalau
Bang.
masih
Tinggal
matrix
diganti.
kayak yang itu bang kayak pintu bermandi. Jadinya kayak kuda.
Tinggal diganti gambarnya jadi kontol, kelar bro kotaknya. Easy.
Well, buat noir
Do
kah bang?
texture swapping.
Free to use.
Do not rely on this
Anjir.
method to make things disappear.
Anjay.
Gue taruh
Next
di
one.
ini kan Twitter gue.
One default key font. You have to
Banyak
Serius?
focus on
yang
original
nonton.
art. It is your responsibility. And even though it may not look
Cuma
bad
kayaknya
or
rada
anything,
susah ya, soalnya kan kalau tampak depan itu bulat doang kontolnya, terus kalau ke kiri dia jadi panjang. Nah, biasanya sih kalau L2D nggak ada yang kayak gitu, ini paling mukanya geser dikit doang. Nah, ini berubah, ini gambar.
Ada bang, tapi harus
Nah itu
gambarnya
yang gua
harus
bilang.
ini kau. Harus kau
Youtuber
ubah gambar.
mandi.
Susah. Youtuber mandi itu siapa sih? Lupa gue namanya.
Oh, kau nggak juga youtuber mandi siapa?
Youtuber mandi.
Gue unsubscribe kali ya.
Dari youtuber mandi gue.
Anjing mana ada sih. Nanti ada sih ini cos siapa? Metia.
Media semua ya. Media semua.
Hebat. Yang ada kah? Pindah deh. Ya pindah deh.
Duh, iya ngapain gue unsub pula ya, jadi hilang dah. Tai.
Emang mau cari bang kalau masih ada.
Ada cowok, ini udah gue.
Ini nggak ada.
Sudah ku unsub.
Dan jangan dihapus ini kan, hapuskan YouTube kan.
Youtuber Indonesia rambut putih mandi.
Konsen.
Nggak ada. Ya viewernya dikit sih, jadi susah dicarinya.
Tagnya apa emang? Judulnya tuh. Live mandi VTuber kah atau mau bilang?
Free talk ya pasti kebanyakan. Ini kah style kids bang?
Dia tuh pernah mandi sama siapa ya? Gue juga lupa waktu itu.
Siapa bang?
Tahu bro, lupa bro. Oh sama si ini. Aduh lupa yang namanya pula kontol anjing lah. Yang rambut kuning cok.
Ah ini bang, Azael Kyoko bang.
Oh. Azael kali ya. Oh iya bener. Coba kita lihat. Free talk mana bang yang free talk? Tidak ada yang free talk kok
Nggak
bang.
ada di sini free talk kan? Nah ini bang santuy dulu lah.
Iya.
Aduh, terkena sihir.
Ada yang nggak ngangkat main game.
Wah ngapain mending gua nonton ini debutnya goblok tolol kah?
Iya juga. Inilah kan Kur. Debut di awal bang.
Kagaknya ganti karakter
Beda
deh.
karakter gitu.
Karakter putih dulu berarti.
Ah dulu kita karakter itu.
Tidak jadi Hilda
itu.
ya. Betis Hilda ya.
Tuh. Debut
Oh,
stream.
pantesan ini.
Fast
Ini
forward.
siapa di apa tuh? Siap di apa tuh?
Nah, tuh,
Welcome
pasti ke samping.
Nova, welcome.
Oh.
Ada yang tegak tapi bukan keadilan. Kalau sama Mbak,
Kali 3.
jangan lupa.
Sayang ya, Bang, ya?
Tenang. Tenang.
Sayang.
Tenang.
Sayang padahal modelnya bagus.
Kepalanya kenapa gitu cok? Masih gigi ke kanan.
Gue bilang.
Malah manjang cok.
Baik juga.
Kan logikanya kalau lu menengok kanan, yang kecil dong. Enggak deh, manjang dikit.
Normal kok. Kanan kiri normal ukuran.
Ntar bang, WC dulu bang. Aduh bang. Lik lu nggak ngapa-ngapain Lik?
Ya.
Anjing di warnet nggak ngapa-ngapain.
Aing
Lik.
Selesai
cuma
dulu.
duduk. Hah?
Udah selesai
Apa,
lo.
Kuliah?
Skripsi lu udah selesai.
Belum lah, kayak nanya.
Dengan udah bab berapa sih?
Bab 3.
1.
Lah, metodologi dong. Lah metodologi.
Orang belum gerak kok aku dari metodologi.
Kita lihat bang
Masih
bab-bab
penelitian.
pada skripsi.
Gue metodologi udah lewat anjing jauh.
Lanjut Kur, santai. Aing juga males, Cok.
Bab
Gua
1
lagi di
sampai
codingan
bab
doang.
5 katanya bang.
Itu yang di atas aja itu kan sama aja. Dari
Satu
AI.
pendahuluan, landasan teori, penelitian, hasil penelitian, kesimpulan. Oh gitu ya bang ya?
Iya.
Metode penelitian bang yang paling banyak bang ininya, subbabnya.
Iya, paling males. 4 sih gua. Tinggal di codingan doang.
Codingan itu 4.
Iya, 4.
Hasil penelitian dan pembahasan. Beuh. Kesimpulan ngapain anjing, isinya apaan coba kesimpulan?
Kesimpulan dari penelitian jadi apa? Dari apa? Dari hasil kalau gua kan programnya berapa persen akurasinya apa itunya. Jadi apakah
Oh,
program ini ada efeknya?
gua kira di pembahasan anjing. Implikasi, bajir, implikasi teh naon anjing goblok.
Tahu di gua nggak ada.
Aing aja nggak tahu bang bahasa Indonesia anjing. Tolong.
Oh, ini males banget gua, Cok. Ada kelas babi ya, Bang.
Kenapa bang?
Tinggal codingan udah gue jadiin kan udah jadi program, tinggal ditambahin tombol di itu doang di kolom, di 2 kolom doang tanpa tombol buat shortlist gitu dari yang terendah sampai yang tertinggi. Anjing nggak mau buat ya.
Oh, lu aja buat kan gampang.
Dari 5 orang gue doang yang ngerjain anjing.
Apaan di tempat magang? Tuh di
Iya,
mana
beneran.
kampus?
Di kampus kan ada kelas anjing.
Kenapa berurusan sama adik kelas anjing?
Kelompok.
Anjing kelompoknya sama adik kelas?
Iya. Males bro.
Namanya juga tolol bro. Gue pengen buka skripsi gue bang, cuma takut ada foto gue aja bang.
Kenapa sih?
Gak mau.
Ya lu cek dulu lah anjir.
Display capture ini masalah.
Ya lu matiin dulu disuruh cara kocak. Emang apa bang? Ini dulu bang.
Ntar bang, kita cari dulu bang.
Oh, anjing, dulu lupa kah?
Kalau nggak salah gue simpen di GitHub bang. Anjing GitHub aing passwordna naon pula. Kontol.
Bilang gitu bro.
Bab 1, bab 2, bab 3, bab 4, bab 5. Oh iya bang, ada bab 5 ya.
Oh yang lupa gitu bro.
Lah lupa goblok, udah zaman dahulu kala goblok. Judulnya ini bang, implementasi pergerakan interpolasi motor stepper dengan menggunakan metode Bresenham pada mesin grafir 3D berbasis Raspberry Pi 3.
Jauh banget Cok.
Gila.
Kamu dosen gue diomelin anjing kalau panjang.
Lah justru ini disuruh sama dosen, Jok.
Beda-beda emang.
Asalnya kan gua judulnya pendek ya. Terus kayaknya katanya kurang jelas, kurang spesifik. Jadi harus dijelasin
Bang.
sangat jelas gitu.
Ya, kalau jelas di abstrak anjing.
Ya, Aing juga nggak tahu. Aing mau ikut-ikutan aja bang biar lulus.
Seneng-senengin aja bang nggak?
Peduli amat bro anjing. Gimana dia aja, dia pengennya apa anjing.
Iya bro. Kan kalau ditanya ini disuruh pembimbing gitu bro.
Sebenarnya gue ada sama pembimbing, judulnya pendek, tapi sama pengujinya disuruh dipanjangin judul.
Oh pas lo jadi jurnalan.
Ya pas sudah jadi. Ini harus direvisi kan, judulnya kurang jelas. Anjing kata yang tolol, ya goblok.
Padahal tinggal dari abstrak doang anjir.
Emang gak dikontol bos dah.
Implementasi panjang banget nih.
Banyak banget aja gak ada otak cok. Nah, ngudut dulu bos. Bang, palo kah?
Lu mau palo?
Lik, palo gak Lik?
Males bang.
Alek menuk bang, jadi nggak mau.
Yang ayo lah Lik, kita main serius sama Kurobon ini.
Tinggal 56 menit cok, males aja.
Satu game.
Banyak 8 ya, banyak 9 gak sih ya?
Udah ah. Males jir.
Parah lu.
Lagi lo main sama gua, Rik.
If your model
Ini apa, Bang?
at its default
Ya, Cok, Kurobon sekarang udah
state,
sakit-sakitan
it
gak
does
bang?
not look at least 99
Meninggal nanti goblok.
the same as the
Lama
original
lagi
PSD,
Kurobon.
then you are doing something that is
Akun apa
unprofessional
bang?
and
Ke akun gold aja bang lah. Tolol gue bang.
Apaan?
Mengerikan jut bang.
Nanti gua tadi.
Gold.
Kan nggak bikin.
Gold 2.
Nggak di itu aja. Nggak di iron. Abang bronze.
Agak yang kebukanya silver 3.
Jangan serius bro.
Yang guardian only padahal cok.
Kayak gua loh bang, minimal lu misin tembak.
Justru guardian only serius ya bang ya. Harusnya ini ya. Outlaw anjay, outlaw only bos.
Yang pas gua main sama Kana kan di live stream gua misin tuh tembakan gua.
Becir. Kenapa bang?
Nah, pas bang.
Males show off kah?
Iya kayak dibilang show off terus.
Kamu show off mulu goblok gitu kah?
Padahal dia di depan mata gua tinggal apa?
Tuh bang, open chat Elik, let's go. Ayo lah Elik.
Agar bang.
Satu game.
Buka doang mager.
Satu game Elik, kita bermain di gold plat Elik.
Ayolah segame aja lah.
Ayo.
Dua lah.
Satu aja bang, nggak waktunya nggak cukup kontol.
Dua lah.
Gue donat lah goceng bang.
Sini
Gua-
beliin aku 50.000 nih gas nih aku.
Gua
Lagi
donate
mampir
goceng
ke
lah.
GoShop.
Gua nggak bisa donat bang.
Lu nggak bisa
Duit,
donate
anjing.
goceng. HP
Ada
gua
duit
mati tapi cu. Ntar lah besok lah gocengnya Rik.
Anjing goceng. Goceng tuh 5.000.
Goceng 2 jam dulu anjing.
5.000 anjing.
Iya 5.000 2 jam dulu.
Iya cok 2.500 kan sejam.
Sejamnya 3.000 anjing.
2 jam diskon ya jadi goceng ya.
Nah, iyalah.
Berapa sejam bang goceng bang?
Becer.
Kaget anjing.
Kenapa bang kaget gitu bang?
Tiba-tiba bejir goblok.
Assalamualaikum mah dijawabnya harus bejir bro. Aing mau ngerigging kontol lah bang. Tujuan utama gue bang.
Rigging bang ntar gue pakai bang di stream.
Tapi artnya jelek aja sih yang penting jadi. Itulah kita
Kalau-
palo dulu bos.
Kalau Trakteer agak keluar dikit bang.
Netes peju. Kau gimana anjing cara bikin peju netes sulit anjing.
Bro kontol.
Ada ngeliknya bang serius mah.
Serius kah bang?
Ngelik bang serius mah. Gue lagi sakit, bro nggak usah serius.
Serius ngelik?
Serius lah.
Acai. Let's go bos.
Minggu gue ya. Minggu gue nggak megang PC cok.
Mengerikan bang.
Capek.
Ini bingung gue kubisem cara nge-save-nya gimana anjing kalau udah jadi cok.
Nggak bisa kah?
Nggak ada tulisan save anjing. Kocak
Belum
anjing.
ada ini kan guys. Belum ada project ya bang.
Udah gue bikin anjing. Project. Secara nge-save projectnya gimana? Clear. Di file nggak bisa. Save as nggak bisa. Save nggak bisa. Export nggak bisa.
Katanya
Import
Ponyo,
nggak bisa.
Dia rigging tadi.
Trial kali.
Tadi
Trial nggak
subuh.
bisa cok.
Oh, iya kali.
Anjing udah jelas trial goblok. Lu kira gue beli anjing?
Pakai yang ini lah. Mod bang.
Emang ada?
Emang ada anjing.
Lu cari
Emang ada,
aja.
anjing.
Di Kuiha kan?
Wih, anjing dapat aing nge-crack Illustrator.
Live di bisa lah. Minta itu bang ke AI.
Minta ini kah?
Match found.
Minta key kah?
Minta ke ini. Kibidi Noir.
Oh iya kalau request ya. Requestnya jangan game lah goblok.
Iya lah. Kali-kali mas software biasa bro.
Canvas setting. Ah, cok nggak bisa cok. Tolol. Harus dicari bang di Google bang how to
Save
save
Auto
your
Auto
project.
plan your
L2D Cubism project.
Modalmu udah ada. Dok.
Kagak anjing, yang lagi belajar.
dia belajar ngerakin blok.
Gue duelis lah bro.
Woi, Medom. Lu belajar rigging kan?
Iya,
Itu modalnya udah ada.
ada dari gratisan.
Ada Mia Khalifa. Cing.
Kenapa mau pakai model lu aja kah? Sini kasih ke gue lah.
Boleh?
Buat belajar aja sih.
Tadi gambar kontol pala.
Choose your agent.
Goblok. Kagak.
Ntar aku coba.
Sage kah? Bentar, pakai apa ya? Oh, duelis bro. Ayo nge-feel.
Let's go.
Ayo mau nge-feel only bang. Oh anjing Gecko gue udah diambil bro. Inisiator terbaik aing. Gimana lagi?
PSD.
Free version has limited functionality. If you exceeded the limit, you will not able to save or export the data katanya bro. What the
Berarti lu
fuck?
dulu udah pernah make kali. Dulu kan
Iya.
lu bukan Belajar Rigging.
Udah
Their
pernah pakai.
cipher will
Iya,
share
ada
his knowledge
waktunya
with
kali.
me.
The
Even if
editor
I have to
starts in
prise
limited
it out of
mode.
him.
Jadi lu clean install aja, full install.
Harus install ulang berarti pakai email yang lain.
Iya.
Kagami no kasanaite, we're the best. I'm not the best. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Nah, ini padahal yang udah bikin box bergerak, Bang. Ah, males banget.
Kagami no
Ini malah mah buletan, Bang.
Kontol anjing bergerak.
Bing bang bang bing bang bang bing bang bang bang.
Where?
Nggak
Mana,
ada.
Bang? Itunya.
Kayaknya sih di A, Bang, kayaknya. Oh, di B.
Enggak tahu, Bang.
Di B.
TV.
Oh, kena, Bang. We forgot.
Fucking idiot.
Anjing, pakai frenzy dia, cowok.
Spike down B. Last player standing.
Anjing frenzy depan muka.
Frenzy god anjing.
Spike planted.
Menang, Bang.
Kalem ayam gini, Bang.
Menang lagi. Oh, ini tak.
Boh,
Wah,
kalem ayam, Bos. Anjing, idiot util, kalem ayam idiot util, Bro.
main CS masih deh, Bang.
Udah keren-keren anjing. Kerennya ketahan bangsat.
Udah kalem ayam, goblok.
Kapan ini semua beres
Tanggal
anjing
besok tanggal berapa, Dok?
Apa?
30.
Besok tanggal berapa, Dok?
Ah, mana gua tahu tanggal, nggak peduli gua.
Tanggal berapa?
Hanya peduli pada bulan, Bang.
Tahun coba.
Nah, Bang, hidup aja hampir habis, Bang, dipikir-pikir ngeliat bulan terus maju.
Lalu suruh bulanan udah.
Wajay, ngeri banget sih. Bisa solo, bisa kontol.
Kalau Bang bawa ante pakai klasik, bro.
Spike planted.
Astaga 100, Bro. Kayak
Last player standing.
Iya.
Aneh, udah baik gini aku main palau.
I can't end their clove, but I can break their spirit.
you cannot pause.
Let's go, Bang.
The trial license has expired katanya. Oh iya, Bang. Kamu tidak bisa save atau export, anjing. Mantap.
Sama temen-temen gue.
Iya, kan trialnya 30 hari.
Email gue udah dipakai pula, ganti lagi. Pakai temporary email bisa kali ya? Udah menang, Bang, ISO-nya udah mati. Ada kah, Bang? Ada.
Eyes down.
One enemy remaining. Spike down B.
Oh, bisa gaya.
No peeking.
Not bad.
Bacet.
Bermain fucking dead.
Ada nggak, Bang?
Nggak tahu, ini samping.
Penting, Bang.
Rotate.
Spike planted.
Barangan aja.
Dalam sini nih.
Peti.
Ilmu bunyi
peti. Udah amat itu sapi.
Last player
Anjing.
standing.
Close, Bang.
Ini deh. Oke deh.
Cing.
Abu.
Kanan, no flash. No more flash.
Entot. 112 bang.
I'm amped.
Nah, anjing gua ngehit 0 bro.
Things to do.
Pete.
Elik serius lah, Elik.
Emang first touch.
Elik.
Oh gitu bro, Elik.
Iya, Elik. Bukan Elik yang gua kenal.
Berarti bukan Elik yang kita
Anjing aku
kenal.
belum beli kok dari tadi.
Lihat dong.
Ya lu mah ngomong spektral mulu aja kan belum beli.
Share screen dong.
Ah, nonton stream gua lah, Bang.
Nggak harus stream anjing.
Oh ya, stream aja lah ya.
Delay 5 detik doang nggak ngaruh.
Iya lah, Ner gimana sih?
Ada Bang. Duh, Bang mati gua, Bang. Bang mati gua, Bang.
Spike down B.
Dapat 1 Bang, lumayan kali ya.
Oh shit.
Lu dapat 1 juga kan?
Spike planted.
Worth it lah. Nah, tolol bro, Reynanya nggak dapat 1.
Elik dapat 3 gitu.
2, 3, sampai 5.
The blind is dead.
Lik minimal dapat 3 Lik.
Ada orang. Semuanya bang buktinya. Anjing kacau.
Last player standing.
Kalem ayam ini Bang. Udah pasti menang. Anjing saking kalem ya bro, nggak ditembak.
Deep breaths, everyone. Your hearts are pounding.
Iya.
Pete.
Pete.
Kareh bang, musuhnya kareh. Mereka gak masuk pula, ngapain?
Launching thorn.
Yang live Belajar Rigging ujungnya malah Valorant ya.
All the time.
Anjing ini namanya rehat bos. Kira tidak perlu rehat anjing.
Serat harapan masih terjalin.
Spike down B.
Mana Elik nggak ada gini Elik.
Oh,
Ada tuh di B. Ada yang wall trick.
Anjing lama
di B
banget.
anjing spike kan.
Aku nyampe coy. Punten.
Sabar.
Astaga Bang, nggak kena Bang. Sorry Bang, Elik Bang. Gue 2 juta gini bro.
Anjing lah, one tap terus aku.
Tuh Bang, gue one tap dulu, balik Bang. Aman aja.
I know exactly where you are.
One enemy remaining.
Astaga, gue nggak nembak.
Kalau main gitu kan.
Last player standing.
Tiba.
One enemy remaining.
Kur.
Anjing.
Astaga, nggak kena gini gue nembak Bang. Gimana
Gila
dah?
cok sih KO itu.
Pensi kali ya?
This place is nice, but not nice enough to die in. Let's win and get out of
Pensi
here.
bang.
Pensi bang.
Buat
Pentas seni Bang.
Pensi ini
Pentas seni,
mainnya
kan?
hari ini, besok main.
Pentas seni bro.
Entasen.
My way.
lihat lu di belong sama gua Lik.
Jol my way goblok.
Ayo.
Pentas seni belum my way lah.
Lalu,
Beli ciki,
ketika
beli
dia gua
koyo
majuin.
kan. Gila, ada Aisyah bro. Aisyah atau Alsyah itu ya? Bentar. Kayaknya Al dah.
Aisyah.
Oh I kah bukan Al.
Nah kan, mantap kan. Ada.
Bentar aku aja.
Jangan nupik.
Ada yang wall trick. Puja kita.
Beli ciki, beli koyo. Baca
Mundur
iya.
tuh kayu. Tadi ada ya di sini hati-hati.
Jakarta sama Bandung jauhan mana?
Ya, lu dari
Jauhan
kanan
Bandung lah.
Ya dari Sumatera lah itu. Dari Medan.
Kenapa Bandung?
dulu. Jauhan Jakarta kan.
Ada.
Jauhan Bandung bang, lu naik pesawat ke Jakarta bang.
Dari Bandung nggak sih?
Spike planted.
Cing, gitu.
Jauhan.
Di Bandung nggak ada pesawat kah?
Mahal anjing kalau tiketnya ke Bandung. Jakarta murah.
Sebenarnya belum pakai ini bahaya. Bisa.
Sini deh.
Nah ini aku sama mamaku nih, yakin.
Ayo masuk aja, Cok. Itu biarin aja.
Goblok.
Last player standing.
Kan ultinya udah dipakai, gue bisa pakai ulti, bro. Aman.
65, Cok. Maksudnya.
Sunya jago banget kur anjing.
Suren. Suren kecil.
Serius kok Suren?
Sangat troll bang.
Now we wait.
06 gitu bang.
Elik.
Udah pasti menang ini bro, comeback 66 langsung 13-6 easy.
Kalau nggak menang mah nambah billing like. Sampai menang nggak sih?
Enggak lah. Mati bro.
Oh shit,
Ada orang sedang.
I can't use that. Anjing.
di hookah banyak.
Thorns activated. Rip and tear.
Wait, this is the right one.
Right here.
Sampai yang sini.
Done.
Ya si Hans takut main.
Gue suruh lihat tuh.
Anjing, Hans anjing.
Aku lihat aja keren itu lihat gue coba.
Enemy spotted.
Lihatnya kan habis detik lagi anjing.
Oh my god, nggak kena pisau goblok.
Spike down B.
Tuh lihat tuh.
One enemy remaining.
Mati kau.
Lupa.
Lo.
Ya lo kalem aim begini bang.
Robon.
Kalem aim kah?
Now we start a winning streak of our own.
Bukan menang easy bro.
Kes bang.
Sniper kah?
Nggak ada request kan?
Gue mau jadi sniper so.
Bisa. Ada yang elik request. Kepada gue beliin lagi. Dengan lo yang tambah idiot.
Anjing.
Nih bang.
Now we
Klik lo pick ya klik.
Hah?
Lo pick.
Enggak sama bang.
Ntar. Itu dia bro, strategi sniper god.
launching thorns.
Baiter anjing.
Thorns down.
Careful here.
Tar.
Oh, bang gue jagain A-nya bang.
Yeah.
Wall up, aku langsung blast ya.
Drop in a
Jagain
smoke.
kiri aja.
Ada yang ngeliatin kiri deh.
Tunggu wall up. Baru maju aku.
Oh dia nembak kok, itu dia bisa rotet tuh.
Tet.
Wall trip.
Ah kan anjing lah. Aku gak sempet ngetik anjing.
Rotet badan apa rotet?
Have I crossed the line?
Bangsat baru mau ngepick orang yang kena trap cok.
Entek gue.
Bisa nih kur.
Ah nggak mau deh, nggak mau pakai phantom. Sayang bro.
One enemy remaining.
Sniper gue.
Apa? Bisa.
Spike down B.
Bisa anjing.
Selokor. Aku bang. Anjing, aing belum nyampe kur. Anjing di wall pula kontol.
Aku percaya yang medap dengan kiriku cok anjing.
Lalu di sini, goblok di sini. Aing di sini gimana mau ngelihat bro?
Itulah anjir, sini harusnya kau.
Dia dari sini cok. Enggak bang, harusnya lu diam di sini bang. Nih.
Terus aku kan mau ngepick yang di sini bang.
Ini dari atas ini kelihatan.
Udah di-pick kamu medok anjing.
Dari atas box kelihatan.
Di B ada tadi.
Ya belum masuk.
It's you and me.
Kecuali kan.
fuck it lah.
You and me back ah.
Like I never left.
Oh, vertical.
Lari kur.
Ada, aku mati.
Parkour.
Lari kur.
Aman bang.
Dulu, Bang.
Chill man, chill.
Spike planted.
Reloading.
Last player standing.
Wah, belum nembak bang.
Kena bro.
Aduh bang, kena bang. Astaga, kontol.
Anjir, musuhnya nggak kena.
Anjing aing.
Nembak anjing.
Aing belum nembak, coba udah mencet E.
Stay alive. I want their life, not yours.
Musuhnya nggak ngotak, cok. Anjing. Aku belum tahu.
Bener majuannya sih kan.
Iya juga.
Ah, fuck it lah.
Bang, dari sini ke atas sana bisa nggak sih bang? Nggak bisa ya bang.
Dari sini bisa. Dari sini ke tempat lu baru ke atas itu lagi bisa.
Ke sini?
Oh nggak bisa, ke yang triple nggak bisa.
Enemy spotted A.
Hidupin ya.
Di wall.
Aku mau maju.
You will not kill my allies.
Habis bang, peluru gua. Darah gua juga habis.
Masuk kur, masuk.
Last player standing.
Mental anjing.
Spike down A.
Lari kur.
Iya lari ya. Bentar juga sih lari.
Nah ini Elik Chan ini goblok, lupa loh.
One enemy remaining. Spike planted.
Drop in a
Normal
smoke.
kur.
Have one of these.
Awal. Kameranya.
Anjing. Di triple, gua kira dia di sini, Cok.
Alright, lucky
Kirain di ini bang, lam.
Anjay, guys.
Ngambat uraknya.
Lampu bang.
Target kita 5 bang. Tidaknya.
Ah gua udah 7 bos, sorry ya.
Lu sama kayak Rena. Nah gitu.
Keren
Tapi
anjing.
Renanya masih mending asis, anjing duelis asis.
Yang penting sampai target bang nanti. Itu aja lah.
Sini bro.
No peeking.
Bilangnya Spa Cypher.
Gua tinggal.
Berarti udah masuk. Astaga, naga Tuhan.
One enemy
Itu
remaining.
apa?
Spike down A.
Di sini.
Di lem ya?
Iya.
Iya. Nggak usah dimajuin sih.
Mati Reina.
Nggak ada, Cok.
Ah di sini dong.
Nggak ada. Dari B
Sus
doang
anjing,
dong.
sus bang ini bang. Plank ini bang,
Gua
sus.
tutup
Apa
atas.
dia nyelonong ya?
30 seconds left.
Nggak bisa nembak, Bang. Santai aja, bro.
Ah anjing gua sambil loncat bang, jadi nggak bisa nembak.
Iya, lu udah loncat duluan.
Oh, nice. Satu lagi bang nyampe target.
Last round in the half.
I didn't care how you do it. Just spend all your money. Maybe buy a shorty or two.
Bang, Phantom lu, Bang.
48 gitu bang.
Lu mau pakai ini.
Nah phantom gua aja, ayo mau ngeri kanyut gua.
Nanti jangan lu taruh bol. sini aja, Cok. Lu situ, gua sini.
Keep up. Right here.
Kenapa?
Kalau mau wala lebih jauh lagi di sana. Dipik sama Rena modar. Menang, Cok.
Astaga, we've got bro.
Kalau Rina bisa ngabisin
Kayak
daripada-
idiot kayak aing. Tuh ada bang di situ. Depan Gecko. Belakang Gecko.
Anjing.
One enemy remaining.
One more.
Last player standing. Spike
Like.
down A.
Anjing dia nembak telur dulu, Cok.
Nembakin sumpah, anjing.
Nembak telur dulu, bos.
Sides.
udah lebih target Bang, aman.
Bang 8 gua, Bang.
Aing udah 6 Bang. Sudah lebih target lagi.
Dipilih Bang, Valorant mah.
Aing 14, Bang. Ditambah lupa dah kira gua, Bang, sama dengan
Iya ya.
yang tuh viewer lu kah?
Mana?
Adik Michelle, Miss Balki ya.
They're not better than me.
Ah,
Tahu.
Headshot.
Tuh. Tadi gua beli Alkitab ya.
ah shit. Oh shit. Backside man.
Ntar, Bro.
Last player standing.
Hans Jing.
Udah cukup Bang, udah lebih 1.
Ini udah 9 kayaknya Bang.
Oh,
Waduh, one more bro.
Bang.
Target gua one more doang anjing. Jet
Don't worry, you get used to it.
6 goblok anjing, no suren adik-adik goblok.
Ini mama 10, Bang.
Serius aing ini Bang, lagi serius-seriusnya masa suren.
Udah serius kan Bang?
Biar Elik nggak pulang-pulang, Bang.
Bro, serius god. Lik kayak lah main satu kali lagi lah, Lik. Masa udahan Elik. Mana paten?
Iya, belum menang gitu,
Udah
Bro.
Bang. Ini Bang.
Ini main sama gue juga cuma menang sekali ya.
Jadi 10.000 tuh.
Thorns are live. Rip and tear. Thorns activated. Roll 6.
Ada flash,
Eyes down.
ada flash. Ini bisa.
Kiranya gue entry gak sih?
Spike down B.
Oh, ini right click gua hoki, Bro.
Ambil spike-nya, Kur.
Wih, spike tinggal.
Last player standing.
50 isonjing.
Nah,
No peeking.
Ini apa Bang, kelinci Bang?
kelinci Bang kayak. Kelinci anjing Bang.
Babi.
30 seconds left.
Iya, ketahuan.
Target down.
Kenapa tadi? Kita udah suruh mati.
10 seconds left.
Di atas.
One enemy remaining.
Anjing, 101.
Anjing, kucingnya hilang Bang.
Let's reset.
Anjingnya hilang deng, bukan kucing. Gue bos, entry god kita bos.
Ah, peti.
Ah udah tercapai Bang target gua, alhamdulillah. Elik, gimana target lu, Elik?
Sama itu bro, ngerina.
Udah nyampe bang 5 bang. Dan lebih.
10 goblok. Target lu 10 bro.
Ditambahin gak nyamain gua anjing.
Oh, anjing serius kah? Tai lu.
Anjing kalau baru muncul aja mati bang.
Anjing pada kesini semua goblok ah. Di wall gini bang.
It's you and me.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
Mantap Elik. Senjata.
Nah ini dia bro.
Apa?
Hah? Skin berisik bang. Origin.
Oh, ini skin tai. Gua plating bang.
Reloading.
Seru.
Reloading.
Invest buy tuh bang.
Let's go kill them.
Invest buy. Dia nge-step bang.
Gua yang stepannya.
Launching swarm. Enemy spotted.
Ada trap bro kiri kanan. Anjing masih kena gua trap aja. Apa?
Penghatu.
One enemy remaining.
My ult ready.
Ini kah?
You flat me.
You can't see
Oh, anjing
my
nih
face
one tap
right
gua
now.
goblok.
Snow.
Sengaja tuh untuk guru anjing.
Show me where to go.
No, ada gua pakai kelas.
Emang gua sniper ya?
Anjing cok. Aman tur ini lah. Udah
beliin.
bang aku.
Parah nggak dibeli, Alex. Aduh. Ah,
Udah anjing.
nih bang, gua kasih bang.
Let's fly.
Dia nggak kena bang. Mengontol. Ada kah bang Elik?
Enemy spotted. A. One enemy remaining.
Mantap bro.
Lu kan gitu. Tahu tak?
Ngapa-ngapain malah gua bang.
Gila pada dibalakin kita semua bro. Aduh.
Sampai target bang.
Nah, target gua mah sudah tercapai kuat. Goblok kali.
Target ngontol kalian.
Bersyukur goblok tuh sage kill 8 tolol.
Dia sage anjing.
Ini apa beda sama gua, sama-sama Cina bro.
Itu sendiri ya.
Cewek dia. Namanya Lewi, orang India pasti.
Di atas pasti kan? Cross kah?
Kiri. Tuh enggak. Kan?
Reload. Spike carrier is there. Spike down B. Roll trip.
I can't use that.
Dua di Pak. Window.
Astaga bang, nggak kena gini sniper gue bang.
Astaga, Elik-chan.
Parah bro, sniper anjing. Oh.
You had your fun. My turn.
Ah,
30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
Tolol gitu kan bang?
My ult is ready. You don't get a reset button.
Oh bang, sniper lagi bang. Penasaran gua.
iya nih. Oh,
Jangan yang serius dikit lah bang, udah 11 loh. Skin bang, skin.
Grab it all. Thanks.
apa nih? Tandal
Iya pandal, gua nggak punya pandal. Bang serius nih.
No block in sight.
Oh shit.
3 anjing.
Ah memek, ada yang diam di situ cok, najis banget.
That's a kill.
Oh, bang kali
One
konten
enemy remaining.
di bawah.
My ultimate's ready. If you can't do something right, don't
Tapos
do it
pakai
all.
skin mah langsung tolol gini bang.
We get a pick. We move in. Got it?
Bang pensi gue pakai skin tolol. Bang mau beliin bang.
Thanks.
Why so easy bro? Udah anjing gue beli.
You're so good anjing. Yes lah anjing.
Ini bro.
Yes I am. Macer itu kan bang.
My ult's ready.
One enemy remaining. Rip and tear. Flawless.
Wah gila yang udah ngomong yes I am langsung jago bro.
Why so easy bro?
Look your enemy in the eye.
I'm
Helps with accuracy.
Let's go.
semua kata.
Wakata bang.
Now we wait.
Wakata.
Embarrass them.
Ini main kasih.
Give me those back.
It's you and me.
My ult's not ready.
One enemy remaining.
Low.
Kalau kalian kalah jadi aku menang gitu. Sayang.
The last thing they'll see before they die. Lucky them.
Mengerikan gini bro, permainan aja.
Dua lagi bang.
So easy.
Udah 1,5 target ini bang, hampir 1,5 target.
Balik.
1,5 target gini kut.
Mau balik aku nanya. Nah.
Let's see how it goes.
Putus ya.
12 menit lagi yuk.
I have ulti.
Reloading.
Enemy spotted B. My ult.
Launching thorns. One enemy remaining.
As much as this world hurt me, it's mine.
Udah ini bro, udah 1,5 target gini mah. Aing pengen ke ini bang,
Ada satu.
pengen ke bat bang.
Bakor.
Kayaknya baru nambah satu. Pete. Oh, anjing, bisa nambah satu.
Biar kaget bro mesin. Di kanan.
Spike down A.
Blocking sight. Reloading.
Aing 7 bang darahnya, bentar balik dulu.
I know exactly where you are.
Like I never left.
Astaga kelihatan tuh ada,
Last player standing.
ada senjata gua lik.
Tolong M gitu. Bro.
Anjing 12 kontol lah.
Match point.
Okay, we know the drill. Stick to your roles and
Seren.
we'll crush it.
Bang belong bang, belong.
Pete. Man bro, yang penting mah pete.
Lah, lu kira gua pakai OP nggak akan entry bro?
No prisoners.
Halo lah. Pemikiran sempit bang kalau kata Piro. Cek kanan goblok. Balik lagi rotet.
Main cok.
No peeking. Blocking sight. Reloading.
Di atas ada. Triple tuh.
One enemy
Hell
remaining.
mana sih aslinya hell?
Lihat bro, pakai sniper pun entry. Triple katanya juga bro.
Switching sides. Overtime.
The enemy only
Hell
looks
bro, hell.
composed.
Maksudnya what the hell bang?
Bilang hell. Mana ada hell?
Hell no bang.
Need a drop.
Anjing. Nggak ada duit bro, elit bang.
Need a drop.
Nah, elit bang. Pik mati.
Tak cukup bang. Tak cukup goblok.
Anjing, elit.
Dia nggak ada.
Ah, ketahuan aku.
Rotet nggak bang kira-kira bang? Masih kayaknya.
80%.
Bang.
Last player standing.
Anjing. Enggak bakal. Ya,
Enggak rot.
saya roda tadi dari atas nih.
Alit sih.
Oke.
Jual.
30 seconds left. Spike
Itu
planted.
win di bawah loh.
Bilang. Gitu.
Blocking sight.
Babi buta bang. Kontol. Aduh bang.
Sama ini cok, yang ngeker gitu bro.
Switching sides.
Oh anjing gue lagi nggak lihat bro. Ada lagi. Jangan.
Now we wait.
Berapa menit lagi Alik?
Keep up.
Lama.
Anjing mati 2 gitu goblok Alik.
I got the spike.
Ayo kita duluan goblok dari kau.
Good, cuate.
Ayo lagi terbang mau ngedes ke depan.
Ayo baru ngancurin trap bang.
I got eyes here.
Enemy spotted A. Reload.
Odin only.
Last player standing.
Oke 4-1.
Spike down B.
Modar anjing bombardir.
Mati aku bang.
Kok nggak di wallbang ya kanannya?
Oh dan kira bud.
Defenders
Ya lo sulit bro.
Nah, pete.
Mending di atas.
Lagi lah.
Lagi Lik, goceng kan Lik?
Udah bang ah. Balik ya.
Ini goceng padahal
Langsung
goblok.
play, langsung play bang.
Kecuali kurang nge-sponsor.
Udah gua kasih goceng goblok. Besok bang.
4 jam anjing goceng.
Anjing goceng gua sama Kuro goblok 10.000 cowok.
Goceng 4 jam.
Kurang bang goceng bang.
10.000 Lik.
Jadi 10.000 4 jam anjing.
10.000 berapa jam?
10.000 4 jam dulu.
Ah 2 jam lumayan bro.
12 4 jam.
Lumayan bang 2 jam bang. Goblok pisan.
Pete.
Kenapa kalah ya? Ada Elik gitu bang padahal mah.
Lumayan bro.
Padahal mah sepo Elik teh anjing.
Juga buat track gitu bro.
Emang lu bawa track tadi Lik?
Aduh. Kuro. Gendong aja nggak bisa. Enggak lah buat track sage bang.
Anjing
Buat track sage bang aman.
kontol anjing.
Oh anjing full track team anjing bukan seluruhnya.
Yes bang pakai apa bang? Sentinel loh.
Enggak. Maaf. Lah kenapa? Bukan buat tracknya sage, kau cek aja.
Parah bos, anjing.
Ayo apa-apa.
Kukira serius Elik ini anjing. Mending duelis mending ini ya?
Elik. Bebas.
Lik mending duelis mending ini Lik.
Hah?
Mending duelis mending ini. Mending ini. Let's go bos. Sesuai perkataan coach Elik aing mah bro.
Harusnya suruh kurus sendiri, cok, duelis.
Nah, bentar bang.
Dulu bang.
Dua initiator, cok.
Hey, while we're here, let's see my folks. My mom will feed all y'all for real.
Gotta go. here.
Full util gini aing bro, support god. Spek. Nggak dikasih spek bro, what the fuck. Yang idiot.
Gotta go.
Dizzy's up. Somebody's there.
Dropping smoke.
There they are.
Reloading.
Shock dart.
Right here. Right here.
Mosh pit.
Planted.
One enemy remaining.
Flank.
Flawless.
Gun here.
Anjing, ngedit gini goblok.
Hey Neon. Mosh kinda likes you.
I'm out of here.
Maksudnya tidak kill satupun bro.
Gotta go.
Parah anjing. Troll.
Nah, ya. Semangat gue nggak ada ya.
Go, go.
Parah anjing, jago pada elek goblok.
Jago kamu.
I'm out of here.
Jago lah goblok.
Dizzy has targets.
Mampus kena.
I got you.
Go, go, go. Work good.
Wingman's gonna plant spike. Blow him up, Mosh. Up you go. Spike planted. Thanks, Wings. Shock dart.
Backside, all backside.
Enemy spotted B.
Cypher, all backside.
Last player.
Anjing.
standing. One enemy
Goblok kaget
remaining.
bang.
Refreshing.
Fight bang, cok.
Apa bang?
Enemies close.
Kontol kah?
Eyes up.
Nggak bisa tamu ya bang.
Saving. I'm out of here.
Tuh biter.
Bonus. Anjing bonus aing beli naon anjing, beli serip goblok. Udah nggak beli apa-apa dah. Klasik. Mau bang beli shield aja berapa?
I'm out of here.
Go bye bang.
Dizzy's up.
Go, go. Dropping smokes.
You did good.
Oh, shit, one on
Revealing
side, one
area.
on my wall. Nice. One on side. Default.
Right.
Up and away.
Enemy.
Dua sih
Last
itu.
player standing. Spike down A.
Drop in a smoke.
Modar dah.
Scanning ahead. Shock dart. A fine kill.
One enemy remaining.
Belakang lu. Gua kena nih.
Yeah, we can go B again. We can go B.
Listen up. Kill them before they kill us.
Okay, we can go B. Okay.
I'm out of here. Gotta go. Go.
Hei, keur naon euy? Keur main Valorant atuh Ya Allah, sugan.
Go.
Dizzy's up top. Sana.
Live-nya enggak di.
Plant the spike.
Dropping smoke. I'm out of here. Short time.
Wingman's
Scanning ahead.
planting. Mosh pit.
Reloading. Down. Round ready. Woo!
Spike
On
stick.
the left.
Thanks, little man. Go.
Backside.
Right here.
Nggak kena kalah juga.
Last player standing.
Anjing. Nyemek lah.
One enemy remaining.
Mirip.
Oh,
Ya.
udah.
88.
Udah pasti dari kanan anjing.
Drop in a smoke.
Probably gonna push you if you ult close.
Waduh.
What the fuck are you doing, bro?
Permainan gold jing ini bang. Reload anjing depan smoke.
Goblok anjing. Parah tuh toxic gini anjing.
I'm out of here.
That's true. Good advice.
Go, go, go.
Bang toxic itu sih.
Toxic gitu, anjing, anak-anak anjing. Ngepick mid anjing ah. Terus asa gua. Kering modal ah.
Asa Kaori bang.
Asa kau rinjing. Siapa tuh yang ngomong parah-parah goblok kamu anjing babi. Sukakah kamu? Ental lu anjing.
I got the spike.
Bro, no one went A.
Cat lu talal anjing gold babi.
Cypher healing.
Nah, nuju naon nuju
The Sova.
nuju main palo.
Pelan.
Got the spike, Wings.
One enemy
Rush is
remaining.
ready.
You had your fun. My turn.
One enemy remaining.
Memek lah. Live di mana di mana naon nah? Ini ada yang ngechat bang, siapa tuh?
Clutch.
Bro,
That chamber's dressed like a fancy waiter. Let's ask him for the wine list.
Lah, kayak gitu bisa kalah goblok banget anjing. Astaga. Nah, udah bro.
Brainless anjing, sopanya ada ulti anjing. Masih mencet sip anjing di sip god dia bro.
Let's go.
Goblok anjing lah.
Gotta go.
It's all you, little homie.
Revealing it.
Nah.
She's all done running.
Ada anjing baik.
Shotgun.
Dizzy's up top.
Nowhere to
Woman's
run.
gonna plant spike.
My ult
The wingman's down.
Ah, wingman aing down pula kontol.
back like I
bro, hop
never
plant the
left.
spike, Gecko.
Cet anjing lah. Cet. Tolol anjing.
88. So follow.
One enemy remaining.
Cálmate, hotshot.
Mute aja bro.
This is broken.
Nar entos live di jam sabara abdi karek entos ngaos. Bentar gue lihat dulu. 3 jam dikurangi 8 dari jam 5.30.
Ngomong Sudah ini.
Gotta go. I'll show them. Lintik kayo.
Up the way.
Goblok anjing gak masuk. Plus aing.
Run, little man. Blow him up, Mosh. Shot my wingman.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
Goblok bombardir util anjing.
There's my buddy.
What do you say, drone? Ready to stretch your wings?
Trakteer dek.
Nggak tahu bang.
Go. There.
Enter the fucking
How can
side.
running, bro?
Goblok.
What the fuck? Tinggal neon.
Lu kira gua pakai jet?
Fuck, Indonesia, bro. Not India.
Take flight.
Dizzy's up. Someone's there. Wingman's planting.
Reloading.
Saw you, Mosh.
Bam, dapat planting gini bro, no need pick.
There they are, right here.
No need entry, brother.
They found my wire.
Ngulti naon anjing sopa sih teh goblok.
Reloading.
Last player standing.
Goblok dibabat sopa anjing.
Oke, jago udah.
You know what we should do? I'll tell you.
I'm out of here.
We should win.
Mute al, idiot. Go plan anjing. Goblok
Pakai tag kurang.
bacot. Oh, anjing gak mau. Karakter entos tamatnya, nya entos. Halo, kamu kok jago? Elah. Kalau mulu goblok. Idiot kah?
Enemy A.
Deploying drone.
Go, go, go.
Ini bang caranya bang.
Scanning ahead. Nowhere to run. Begins. Someone is A.
Not ready yet.
Wajib.
Player standing.
Cek. Cek. Halo? Cek.
No peeking.
I'm over them.
Ah, mana si Aceh, Kur?
I'm out
Apa?
of here.
Ada.
Ada.
Naon anjing?
Lagi ngapain kamu?
Lupa apa? Patah suaranya.
I'm out of here.
Suara lo atau suara gue yang patah-patah?
Suara
Gue ya?
suara si ini, si Naru.
Nge-lag gue, cow.
Oh shite, I lost my pet rock.
Suara lu juga patah-patah di gue, Kur. Gue nge-lag.
Iyalah, lu
Siapa
taruh.
sih?
Upload.
Scanning ahead.
Gua nge-lag, goblok.
Apa sih?
Go, go, go.
Oh, kenapa? Beliin.
That's spike, Wings.
Kontol, anjing. Bang yang mau AFK di sini, Bang. Sorry ya.
Spike planted.
Kita ulti kan, Bang, biar keren, Bang. Bam, let's go, bro. Brother. Ini enggak dapat tuh, tolong.
Camera.
One enemy remaining.
Fight up.
Last player standing.
Anjing. Kira di kiri.
Mati dia, Bang. Asli, Bang. Yakin enggak? Kalah ini.
Nah,
Ini menang tuh terakhir.
Banget ya.
Bang, kenapa suara gua nge-lag, Bang?
If you're not a good shot today,
ini suara lu nge-lag anjing, telat banget, cok.
Halo?
Ah, ada Bang.
Anjing.
Baru
Halo?
lagi, Bang. Hilang lagi, cok.
Iya ya.
Bang?
Karena gua
Halo?
ada ke Gur.
Ah, ya.
let's do what we do.
Ah, males amun entos ngomong kieu mah.
Spike drop.
I got the
Maksud? Ngomong apa?
Enemy mid. Go, go, go.
reloading.
Revealing air.
Pulang gitu.
I found them.
Hi, I'm pissed. Gotta go.
Shock dart.
Spike down A.
Like I never left.
Halo.
Apa anjing?
Refreshing.
Alek nggak suara gue bang?
My turn.
Ini error ya?
Hah? Apa?
Hilang-hilangan.
One enemy.
Suara gue hilang-hilangan kah? Lu kali yang nge-lag tolol anjing.
Nah, ini udah.
Iya. Anjing
goblok.
dulu anjing.
Ping Discord gue 18 ms anjing.
Careful.
Ah, lancar gak bang?
Anjing bisik banget.
Last round before the switch.
Time to spend this cash.
Need a drop. Go, go, go. Gotta go.
Gak ada lagi kan suara dia.
Go, go, go.
Suara siapa?
Gua.
I'm out of here.
Suara lu.
Oh, gue nggak ngomong anjing. Ngomong apa bro?
Right there.
Ciri dulu ganti internet, Ciri. Ciri udah ganti internet.
Apa? Belum. Masih bingung, Cok.
Bingung kenapa bang?
DBN juga. Ah,
Suara lu hilang-hilangan Ciri.
belum masuk. MNC nggak masuk.
Ciri suara lu hilang-hilangan.
Gua kah?
Shot dart.
Kalau menurut lu gimana, Kur? Hilang nggak?
Spike planted.
Ah, korobonnya juga nggak ada suara bang.
Lu anjing.
Silence.
Gua nggak
Lu
ngomong
baru
anjing.
nih goblok.
Jadi siapa ini yang hilang-hilangan bang?
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Gua.
Lu kocak.
Gua. Halo gua.
Head off anjing.
Gua.
Lu kocak.
Masa anjing? Sekai muka macri goblok.
Switching sides.
Iya.
Remember, bullets hurt.
Masa Bang Acri?
Orang gua
Halo.
denger suara kurobon aman-aman aja anjing. Anjing. Gua denger kurobon enggak ada
Halo.
error anjing.
Enggak, suara lu goblok Acri bukan korobon. Halo.
Anjing.
Tuh kan hilang suara Acri anjing gitu bang.
Kurobon aja gua lancar, Cok. Lu anjing yang patah-patah suaranya.
Suara gua di lu mata-mata Cri.
Banget anjing. Suara kurobon enggak?
Anjing, berarti lu Acri.
Enggak, gua internet itu bagus, Cok.
Kok gua anjing? Lu goblok.
Anjing.
Gua berapa? Tuh, MS gua aja 23, Bro.
MS gua 18 anjing. Ada lu Acri anjing.
MS gua 23,
Spike
Bro.
planted.
Lah gua lebih kecil goblok lu berarti.
Anjing gak ada
Gua di
hubungannya.
jam
goblok.
18, Bang.
Tuh Acri yang gede sendiri anjing 20, yang lain 18.
Kalau di speed test gua 5, Bang.
Anjing di Discord goblok.
Vitas gua juga anormal
Last
anjing.
player standing.
Di Discord mah gua masih sama anjing 17 anjing.
Tuh berarti Acri 20, cowok.
Clock ticking.
Goblok 20 nge-lag. Tolol kan lu lagi di dia.
Anjing. Emang kenapa bang 20 doang, nge-lag lah. Ini mama 15 deh.
Reloading.
20 gak nge-lag anjing. Dari mana, Cot? 20 bisa
Gua
nge-lag?
nggak nge-lag bang harusnya bang. Tahu sih.
Suara patah-patah lu anjing, Krobon ngomong aman anjing.
Berarti lu Acri.
Berarti lu berdua yang jelek anjing. Berdua cakep.
Orang aja kayak kepita gini anjing.
Berarti Kurobon kali yang bagus sendiri, goblok anomali anjing.
Oh iya, Cok. Goblok Krobon.
Oh anjing jelek ngajak anjing.
Spike planted.
Go away.
Solid lah
Belum,
goblok.
belum.
Anjing. Ya kawan, Cok, Krobon, Cok.
Last player
Anjing.
standing.
Siapa bang jelek bang?
Lu kali Acri ya. Goblok sih teh.
Oh, anjing. Yang 15 gue sekarang bang. Waduh.
Kontol si Acri.
Tolol anjing 20 galek, 20 galek idiot goblok.
Anjing si
Jangan ini,
Acri
Kang.
deh.
Pakai atlas kali bang.
Anomali kamu Acri goblok.
Get on with it.
Kamu ya goblok.
Oh anjing kau anjing.
Kamu lah goblok. Aduh, tak lah anjing.
Tuh anjing parah Acri nih bro. Gue 17 segini bang.
Anjing 20 galek anjing. Zaman kapan tolol. Anjing.
I'm out of here.
Udah zaman Soeharto
Go get
anjing.
him, buddy.
Shock it.
Spike planted.
Drop in a smoke.
Reloading. Blow him up, man.
Reloading.
One enemy remaining.
That's refreshing.
Last player standing.
Sambil jongkok aja.
Drop in a smoke.
Anjing malah di smoke goblok. Goblok di smoke.
Level heads until we're
home, yes?
Ih, smoke mahal banget.
Go, go, go.
Acri ya pasti ya gara-garanya ya.
Tuh,
Cek.
karena lu yang hilang-hilang anjing.
Si anjing. Mana ada goblok.
Goblok, Krobon aja aman anjing di aing.
Udah lu
Lah.
pada jelek anjing.
Kurobon mah jarang ngomong goblok.
Introvert kan Kurobon ini.
Introvert anjing.
want to play? Let's play.
Ada otak gitu anjing. Jangan salahan gini anjing.
Talal anjing kena-kena aduh. Emek. Gara-gara Acri nge-lag tuh jadi nggak kena-kena ya.
Anjing, batin lu yang idiot. Tolong. Anjing. Hanya bro, ini home bro.
Shock done.
Anjing.
Shock done.
One enemy remaining.
Elbow.
Scanning ahead.
I'll walk it off.
Pada jelek.
Outside of this gig, immortality.
Aji kali bang ini bang kelakuan Aji anjing goblok.
Aji sama Wahyu bang. Polan gue.
Ajinjing bang.
Polan gue nge-hack bro, oh shit.
Bertiga itu bro, udah pasti kuat bang.
Anjing, lu kira pakai HTML high word gitu goblok?
Anjing, mau percaya gitu bro.
Anjing.
Download goblok di GitHub goblok cara nge-hack.
Download lagi anjing, jangan otak cok.
Discord hack bang di GitHub ada bang.
Reloading.
Kalah gitu bro sebagai pemain guardian anjing bang.
Tai aing low anjing. Dia ngeliat badan doang sekali.
Here.
Indah
Spike
iman
down mid.
abada. Find them.
My ult is ready.
Cri, tadi live stream apa lu, Cri?
Horor.
Seru nggak?
Gak kuat aja guys, Cok.
One enemy
Rame
remaining.
nggak, Cri?
Lumayan lah sebenarnya kalau niat ya. Gua ngantuk, Cok.
Found them.
Ngantuk aing aja.
One enemy remaining.
Lah, kapan-kapan kalau gua paham gameplaynya, Cok. Enggak paham juga.
Viewer gue dikit gini bang, padahal gue lagi belajar rigging bang, tapi main palo.
As a bowstring. The fight
Ada yang tertarik aja gak mari Rigging, Bro.
Kayak Robon nggak masuk scam bang.
Oh iya bro.
Nah,
Istirahat ini bang. Riggingnya mah 20 menit bang, sisanya palo.
Tolong
kita
aja.
cuma nontonin doang aja, nonton video aja.
Oh iya nonton video. Nah ini nonton video dulu lah, goblok awal-awal kecil
Iya,
bro.
nggak dilanjut lagi kan ini.
Lanjut lah. Ayo lu. Bentar lagi kelar itu video tinggal 2 lagi aja.
Spike planted.
Anjing,
No
mantep
sweat.
bang.
Rush is ready.
One enemy
Sit
remaining.
down.
Kiri. Oh,
Easy bang anjing.
I need this.
tinggal drop lah bang.
My thanks.
Yang 8.000 nggak mau drop ya, anjing, tolol goblok.
Jet lah anjing.
Oh, anjing udah gua matiin anjing voice chatnya goblok. Najis.
Yalla, Sheena. Up and away. It's all you, little homie.
Gua balikin lagi anjing.
You did good. It's all you, Mosh. Get him, baby. The wingman's down.
Oh lol.
Spike
Ada
down.
kiri lo ada
B.
lagi kan? What the fuck?
Ini orang ngapain bang?
Nonton bang.
Udah bang, gua kira dia maju.
Believe in yourself bang.
Anjing sakit gini, Cok.
Dan lama lagi tuh bro.
Udah kalau di double pick gua mati dia dapet bro, lumayan.
Last player standing. Spike planted.
Nom chat P bang. Indo deh.
Last
Oh,
player
mati.
standing.
No peeking.
Scanning ahead.
Nggak mau.
We do what we do. Get back to
Go,
chilling.
go, go.
Terjadi lagi.
Gue nggak bos, griefing gua bos.
Itu kan?
Nah ini gua kasih tahu bang, aling.
I'm dead.
Amat bro, itu ngapain?
Sih.
Iya.
Kan, nge-save-nya sampai sini kan, betul kan? Lagi sekali lagi. Last Yoko, I'm really sorry. This is really my last. Really.
mengerikan gini.
One enemy remaining.
Watch out, I'm out of here. Next. It's over.
Lari,
So,
lari, lari, lari,
do we
lari,
mix it
lari,
up?
lari,
Double
lari,
down?
lari, lari,
Let's
lari.
talk. Can someone buy me, please?
Lagi nonton Little Nightmare bang. Bukan Little Nightmare.
Apa? Kalau misalnya numpuknya kayak gitu,
Nggak tahu. Dark Deception. Game naon anjing Dark Deception.
Wah itu susah anjing. Kejar-kejaran.
Kayak Little Nightmare, gue kira Little Nightmare.
Enggak, beda. Jauh anjing.
Masa anjing ngacre lah, nge-lag kamu udah pasti scam.
Goblok, apa hubungannya dengan scam sama nge-lag?
Anjing. King Indian bang nge-lag bang. Scam mulu deh.
Nah, beda bro, 20 India goblok. India mah 50 anjing. Ini wajahnya mirip ini gua, ada itu juga.
Last player standing. 30 seconds left.
Halo bang, nggak ngehit sih.
Udah pasti kalah bang aing bang. Mana bisa gua nge-clutch nih idiot aing.
Spike planted.
Yap, bro. Kan idiot bang.
All right, homies, chill. We'll go again. Damn, you love being here. Way too much.
I'm so sorry. Wah, anak kan people iya mode serius ya, maaf ya.
Jadi kenapa nggak main game itu cuy?
Apa?
Deception.
Kita udahan dulu.
Decepticon.
Malas anjing main kejar-kejarannya.
Transformer seru kali ya?
PS2 kan?
Apa?
Gimana Transformer PS2 bos? Ya
Seru
lo.
anjing. Seru.
Seru banget, ini suka main lo. Ya lo pemberani gini kok bang. Pick only ini.
Last player standing. Spike planted.
Ngamut gini bro.
Pensi aja kali ya, pensi ya. Pentas seni.
Tiba-tiba badan gue panas bang, ngamut bro.
Anjing gara-gara Valorant kah bang?
They will scurry.
Go, go, go.
Udah malam pasti naik bang. Subuh.
Ya kah? Soalnya dingin ya?
Soalnya panas bang. Dingin mah di Bandung anjing. Di sini mana dingin.
Di Bandung juga panas anjing. Yang aja bugil bang tidur. Saking panasnya.
You want to play? Let's play.
Ada yang kena gitu nembakin gua.
Run, little man. Mosh pit.
The hunt
begins.
Hiper anjing, nembak ya.
Last player standing. Spike
menang
planted.
bro.
You blink.
What the fuck?
Attackers win.
Oh kamu bang.
Ejet anjing.
Capek banget.
Gila Kurobon yang kita kenal capek gitu bang bermain Valorant dog.
Capeknya capek sakit anjir.
Gila bang, gue kalah semua bang. 3, 6. Kalah 8, menang 2.
Menang buat apa, Bang?
Anjing yang main di gold tuh kalah 8, menang 2 bro. Gimana anjing?
Menang tidak menambah apapun.
Anjing menambah goblok.
Emang lu post di TikTok kan ini?
Kagak bang. Terus di live stream lah bang. Siapa tahu ada yang nonton. Langsung di invite anjing. Jago banget kata invite ah.
Juga ada orang yang ngajak Wewan kemarin, Bang. Ngajak Wewan gua.
Kontol anjing.
And even though it may not look bad or weird or anything, if your model at its default state, it does not look at least 99.2% the same as the original PSD, then you are doing something that is unprofessional. And I don't know if 100% your client or your artist would complain about it, but it is basically a fatal mistake of a live 2D designer. So preserve your original art. Okay, however, if there is a mistake, okay, and say you slipped it or some mistake was somewhere you made it, a mistake that would cause the original form no longer is the same when everything is default, then what are the ways to recover them? Because what I want you to learn today is that recovering original form is difficult, especially if the mistake is caused by the former. When recovering is difficult, you want to stay alert, you want to avoid the mistake instead of casually move on without noticing there's any mistake. Okay? So in case, worst case scenario, there is such thing as, the default shape is not what I want it to be. What ways are there? Now, just now we talked about the button that allows you to revert original shape of the art mesh. Yeah, but even though it exists, it doesn't work on deformers. It only works on art mesh. Okay, so let's see for ourselves in this example. So let's say we have Mr. Slime here, moving from left to the right with body X. And now, at some point in our editing, I messed up. I accidentally have this warp deformer, which contains
Ini harus diuninstall dong, uninstall deh. Ini gimana caranya, Cok? Lu bang, yang stream dulu bang, gue mau ngekrek,